Messing with people like that is a little too much, but
putting
you
stuff
know,
in
if
her
it's
underwear.
harmless.
Yeah, like putting stuff in her underwear.
Pardon my absence. I haven't forgotten about what we discussed. Oh yeah, no,
Who is
you're
that?
good, man. This is that's Rap God Zan. So
Ah,
for any of you who haven't heard yet, and I'm going to tell Shay as well, we're going to be doing a segment called U Store Presents, which is all of our upcoming independent underground artists.
oh, that's me.
That is you.
That's me.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
got a mixtape.
You got some bars. We'll put your bars on U Store
Yeah,
Presents.
you already know. We talked
So
about
Rap God Zan is going to be the first of the fire artists that I'm now in the mix with. We'll talk soon, man. Hopefully I can bring that to you guys in the next couple of weeks. I want to really put something together.
That sounds
super
fire.
nice.
That sounds fire.
It'll probably be like the same as this, just on StreamYard or whatnot. But
let's
it will
get
be
these
fire.
new artists out here because the
That's
ones
what
we
I'm
got right
saying.
now are whack.
Honestly, the game the way it is
Yeah.
needs to be changed. And big shout out to obviously Rap God Zan. Big shout out to Kid Vicious, DET in the basement. There's a whole subculture.
That sounds lit.
It's very lit.
Yeah.
There's a whole subculture of people that go on IG lives and they spit bars. They do verse for verses. They do competitions. They do battles. They play music. They do reviews. And honestly, it's the hardest artist I think I've ever heard on these platforms.
The ones that are undiscovered. I think that's when they are usually the sweetest. You know, when they used to be MySpace and YouTube and
right.
things like that, you know.
Just came back.
Who messing with us?
I don't know. Look,
somebody keep hijacking
Princess,
why you messing with us?
They can do that from Wakanda.
We're just trying to have a good show.
Bologna dip is in the building.
Hey.
Okay, you a little you on time today. I forgot to say hello to Aoife as well. Aoife, if you were still in the building, what up though, homie? Man, so what was I talking about? Oh, U Store Presents. So that's gonna be dope because I feel like there's a lot of platforms now where these artists can get themselves out there, but they still need that launch pad. You know what I mean? Like as much as Instagram Live is cool and all that, and we're all supporting each other, I feel like these underground artists and I feel like talent should be the thing that leads.
Absolutely.
You know, it shouldn't just be the people who have the most bread behind them, and the people that, you know, can be promoted on these whatever shows or played on Top 40 radio constantly. It should be the best artists and the best music should be at the forefront. So my aim is to do exactly that.
I mean, how many of us even know some dope artists that can probably out-rap or out-sing a lot of the famous people out here?
If you go on these platforms, they do these competitions, and the people that I've seen in these competitions, to include the people that don't win, are harder than 100% of the people that are on radio. You know what I mean?
Especially like the female rap game. You know, I feel like.
Speaking of which, Bratz Killam is somebody that I'll have to send to you. Bratz Killam is.
We some. We just need something different.
Oh, man.
We need to stop talking about the same old thing.
You have to tap into these platforms.
Yeah.
You got to tap into these platforms. Anybody looking for some really dope underground artists, mainly in hip hop, is what these platforms have been. But I'm looking for the IGs that do more than hip hop as well. And the U Store will be something that encompasses all genres, not just hip hop. So
I know you love country.
Oh yes, I do. My wife is a huge country.
I know
fan.
you guys met at a country concert, right?
Yeah.
And that's romantic.
Hey, black fellas, if you looking to find you a good woman,
you say go to
put you on. You ain't got to put the cowboy boots on, but just. You know,
stop the cat.
Go to a country concert. Look, go to a country concert. You might find your wife.
I can't stand country. You already know how I feel about country music.
I started liking country in high school. I went to spring break in Daytona.
What kind of inspiration to like that kind of music?
Alcohol.
Okay, I figured. Like your sober mind.
It is truly a great drinking and commemorating with friends music though.
It's like they just be talking and they throw
all they want to do is
they're
gonna take their car down on the back roads.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might mosey on down to one. See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Juice loves country
that's
music.
Rap God. That's Rap God. Listen, I'm telling you what. If you listen to on a music standpoint, right, as a songwriter, as a composer, somewhat of a composer. If you listen to how country music is put together, as far as instrument wise, as far as composition wise, I know a lot of times you think country says the same things over and over. I lost my dog and I lost my wife. And my brother took my truck.
I just can't get with that.
Right, but there's a lot of country music that is deeper than that. And if you go past the the surface of what they're saying and dig into the subtext of how they put it together. And
see, why would I want to do all that?
Because it's not.
It sounds like build the wall to me, and it sounds like go back to your country.
You just don't like. Okay, how about this?
I can't.
Don't listen to the older versions of country, like the real twangy, real banjo-y.
So you want me to listen to like that modern country where they mix it a little bit with like Nelly and all that?
Yeah. I need something you do. Like, come on. There's a lot of great.
I don't know. You'll have to.
Tennessee whiskey, exactly.
I hate that song.
How? Why though?
I just think it's stupid.
Okay, but do you have a bias because you don't like country?
I do have huge
so
bias.
So it doesn't matter at this point what comes on. Yeah. You're gonna be like, this
one
is country
time,
I don't
Princess
like.
did get me to listen to Blanco Brown. I'm not
music racist.
I am selective to the music.
You're a music racist.
Probably a little prejudice, but if the music sounds like go back to your
country,
straight up
I don't music racist. But that ain't. You got to take away the choice because I was the same way. Obviously, every
were you
every person
like you were
coming up, no. Not really, but I will say, hold on, in my defense,
what does your
I
family
grew up.
Feel about you
They called me white boy all grown up. But I was even worse than country though. I listened to like screamo rock. Like I was into Korn. I was into System of a Down. I was into not screamo rock.
Yeah, my brother used to listen to that.
The whole alternative side. Yeah. I grew up on Dashboard Confessionals, Taking Back Sunday, Bullet for My Valentine.
I don't know half of those.
The Used.
Was this before I was born?
My Chemical Romance.
Okay, maybe
this
I remember
is high school.
Of those.
This is like
1957.
2000. Ooh. Now 60. 1970. That was like early. It was early 2000s. I graduated in 04, so. It was early 2000 and up. Mm-hmm. And all those bands are classics to me.
Yeah.
But I will say this too, as far as being a writer goes, I sort of took it was like a mix between Eminem and the pain and strife of that music that I kind of mixed together and used as far as how to tell a story, as far as how to portray emotion in your song and how to build. I think a lot of the times with that music, with alternative and country, to me, they build a feeling more than hip hop does. They really take you on that ride emotionally, as far as at least for me.
Go back to your country. Who gave you the citizenship?
Yes,
that's what it sounds like. One. Who gave you the citizenship?
Who gave me the citizenship?
Me. Like, every time I listen to country music, I felt like I'd be getting blamed. Like, who?
Now, let me ask you this.
What?
Was there a time in your life where someone was being super racist toward you while they were playing country in the car or something?
No, I think it just connects the plugs, like as soon as I hear country music, I just think racist. I just think like I'm not welcome here.
I see the racist. The racist.
We went to Nashville last year.
That's your problem. Stay out of Nashville.
See, we started out in West Memphis. Completely different culture, very diverse.
Yeah.
You kind of see all kinds of colors.
Right.
Then we drive over to Nashville, and it wasn't like that anymore. It was everybody dressed the same, looked the same, and I was just like, I was just ready to go.
Nashville is the country capital.
Yeah, it was
like the world.
You know how like when you go to a horror like house, you're like, that's how I felt there. I felt like I was at a horror house.
Yeah,
like I just felt like at some point, they're gonna come out on the horse.
I can see that.
I just felt like
I can see that.
You know what I mean? It was too much.
I haven't been to Nashville yet. I want to, but I could see that though.
And it was around that same time where that bombing happened by the AT&T building. You remember last year?
Oh yeah.
So that whole one area was still blocked off. So
well,
like
of
when
course,
you walked,
a bombing happens and you're gonna be scared.
I wasn't there.
It wasn't me.
I wasn't there. Disclaimer.
It wasn't.
I don't even say the B word on air.
I didn't even.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
I don't. I wasn't me.
Was it?
I swear. I have an alibi. I have an alibi, and do I need to call my lawyer?
It was my Habibi.
I was with my Habibi.
Me and my Habibi were not
I have
around.
somebody who can vouch for me. I have 17 cousins.
We were not around. All 17 of them were in town.
Yes.
Coincidentally, we all drove in the same vehicle.
Same car.
It was a Geo Prism.
Prius. Oh. I was like, we all got in the Prius.
Look, I can't ever try to force anybody to like country because it took me a really long time to, and I won't listen to country a lot of times if I'm in the car by myself just trying to catch a vibe. I won't really bang country. Sometimes I will though. Sometimes I will. Sometimes I will play some country in the car by myself. Usually it's when I'm driving and I see like an upper middle class white lady or a white dude beside me with their windows down. I'll turn on some country just so they can be like, huh? He's listening to, and I'm singing it. And then as soon as they pull off, turn on
you don't know what I know.
Gangsters.
You don't know what I've been through.
I put on some bags, money bag, as soon as they roll off.
See, one time I was listening to Arabic music and a cop pulled up next to me.
Oh yeah,
and I was blasting it, and then I turned it down. I was like, I swear to God, I'm not a terrorist. I'm just listening to Arabic music.
Here's the funny part. I fully believe that you did say this to the cop.
He laughed.
I bet he did.
He just laughed and he drove away. He's probably like, yeah, she's too stupid to be a terrorist.
Right. I don't know.
We would just tell on ourselves. But I was blasting the Arabic music. Sometimes I get too high to listen to English music.
I think people need to if you like music at all, if you claim to be someone who likes music at all, you have to foray into every kind of music just a little bit. You got to find something in each genre that you like, because the second you cut off and fully stop listening to any kind of genre of anything, now you've blocked yourself off to a whole culture of people, and I feel like that's a slippery slope.
Right.
Granted, there's only some people consider Lil Nas X kind of country because of some of the stuff he makes, but I think there's Hootie from Hootie. What's his name? Darius Rucker. Nope, don't know. He's a black man. Nope. You know who Hootie and the Blowfish is?
No.
Oh goodness, you are young, huh?
I am young.
Yikes! I keep forgetting. I always forget how. I mean, because y'all are very mature.
I look old.
Yeah, pretty much. I was gonna say you're mature,
50,
but you
I'm short.
Because you hold yourself like a grandma
on this show.
It ain't about height. No, it's height shaming your intelligence, not your stature.
Where's the bill when you need that one? You definitely yeah.
I forgot I forgot I got control of the bell now.
Okay, that was a good one, but still.
I forgot I have control of the bell.
Just because I'm 5'2" and 1/4.
Wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was taller.
All my family's tall.
Okay. So we're gonna stay on the music topic for a minute because I feel like
because you're trying to convince me.
No, I'm not. No,
I'm here for it.
I'm not trying to convince you. I can't convince anybody to like country because, like I said, my wife loves country, and even my babies will not allow her to play country.
Oh, good.
Like my toddlers.
Like okay, yeah.
If she puts country on in the car, they will
start crying.
They will scream.
What are they like?
Hip hop.
Yeah.
The more bass you got, the quieter they'll be.
Okay. So just play some.
Even though they look white and they got red hair and like greenish, bluish, hazelish eyes.
Like kind of like, yeah.
They black to the core, baby.
Okay, they black on the inside. And that's really all that matters.
Yeah, they got some Wakanda in their blood.
Yeah. They look like you, so you really can't deny them. That's the one thing.
That's what people tell me.
They do look like you. They're just white.
That's what people tell me.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
Tell me. That's not suspicious about that.
That's what people say.
That's what people say.
That's what I've heard.
That's what people
say. Someone once said, when I was younger and I wasn't aware of myself yet, and I wasn't happy with who I was and in my skin, growing up in the suburbs and seeing the privileged white kids and hanging out with the privileged white kids, there was a point in time where I was always saying I wished I was white.
Why?
But
what was it about being white that made you want to be white?
Because to me, growing up, I saw my black side of my family and all the black people I knew, which lived in Detroit, was struggling, had roaches, or whatever the case may be, or you know what I'm saying, whatever that was like. Keep in mind, I went from North Carolina, military brat, North Carolina to England, to Germany to England, and then I went to Michigan. So I wasn't
superior whites.
I wasn't really around no hood, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't in none of those areas at all until I moved to Michigan and got down into Detroit, and so I was already
like, hello, mate.
Right. I had a really weird accent when I got back. I didn't know anything about it. We would have been
two weirdos. Hello, mate.
I want to have some tea after the show. So I wasn't around that culture. I wasn't around that part of my heritage. So it was different to me. And I'm like, oh, all right then. So then we moved to the suburbs and I was in like, I don't know, 5th grade or so. So I was always geared more towards speaking like the proper white folks that I was around or dressing.
People be like, you talk white
all the time. They call me Carlton constantly. So I learned how to do the Carlton. I learned how to do the Carlton to perfection.
You gotta do it before the end of the show.
I will do it.
Do the Carlton one time for the one time. For all your doubters.
For all my
all your haters.
All my code switching brothers out there and code switch
people that told you couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, they all my life. So I figured by what I had seen that it was just easier to be white, and you just were able to live a better life. You have more money, you have more respect, which isn't necessarily not true.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You can't say that's not true.
No.
So it's funny to me that I had two babies that look like me, but are white.
Yeah. No, that's true.
They get the best of all worlds. Right. Like they get the best of all worlds. It just, I'm glad, I'm 100% happy and proud of the fact that they don't have to go through
what you went through
just by having, honestly, I don't have, how do I say this without sounding real jacked up?
Just say
I love my black skin.
Right.
And I love being a black man. But I hate the fact that even today at 37 almost years old, I have to walk around this earth knowing that some people are looking at me in whatever kind of way because of the color of my skin.
Because it's something you can't control and something you have nothing to do with nothing.
Right. Yeah. And not the content of my character or whatnot. So that sits on me every single day. And today we are going to be talking about mental health and depression and PTSD. And that is one of the sources of my depression and a part of why I've had some PTSD coming up and I didn't even know it because that shit's scary.
Yeah.
As a brown woman.
I mean, absolutely. I feel like as an underrepresented minority, it's deep. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it's always you looking at the white person and you're like, why do you get more privileges or how do you get these privileges? You know, regardless of what I may look like to other people, that may not say like, oh, you're not black or you're not this or you're not that, but it's so many minorities that deal with that same struggle because from the white person's perspective, you are colored person. Doesn't matter what shade color you are, you're still going to get treated different, look different. And how I always describe it to people is when you're a colored person, regardless of what minority or background you come from, you constantly have to walk into the room and break stereotypes to prove to people that you're not whatever they think you are in that box.
You know how much I overtip just because
black people
because I know that people think, the stereotype and all of that. So, and that's how we have to live. So, I mean, it is what it is. But like I said, growing up, I always was like, life would just be easier if I was white.
And that probably would have been the truth.
But I know now, though, too, my kids are going to have to go through a whole new set of challenges because they're going to have to defend their blackness coming up, depending on what circles they're in or whatever.
The one thing that I am noticing about this new generation is they're not as attached to religion or race as much because there's so many mixed kids in schools right now that it's really hard for you to kind of pinpoint being, racist to one
I will say it has gotten easier as the melting pot has mixed a little, but the sad fact is I feel like those people that don't like the fact that it's gotten easier are coming out full force these days to make sure that they let you know that you're not as good as them. It's gotten more blatant, and I think there's a blind eye being turned to it way more than there was back then. Because it is so prevalent, it is so blatant, it is all over social media, yet people are still dismissing it. People are still acting like it's not around.
It's around. And and I
every single day.
The people from the 90s and before are still the racist people. The people that were born in the early 2000s and up are taught being racist because you didn't grow up with any of that stuff, so why did you all of a sudden feel like you're better than this person because of your skin color? It had to have been taught to you at some point.
Everything is you kind of have to. I'm gonna hop off my IG live here, so people on IG live, if anybody's in here still, please go to our YouTube, go to our YouTube, go to our website so you can see the entire spread, see myself and Shay. I'm gonna get off of this and I'm gonna do some research because we're about
what are you gonna research?
I don't know.
Okay.
I wish there was a way to.
Anything?
No, I wish there was a way to look up like.
What do you want to look up?
To look up how much worse racism is, or like what I mean? Like I don't know what.
Honestly, I feel like this year it hasn't been as bad, but I feel like the last couple years have gotten really, really bad, like out of nowhere, with everything. With online, with the way that people talk to each other on social media.
A lot of people would blame old Trumperton for how bad it's gotten.
I think he's just inspired people to kind of speak up what's inside of them, but it's always been there.
what the big thing is when you see the leader of the free world openly saying and doing whatever that he wants, and he seems to support. I mean, openly tells you he supports you as a known racist group. Then the comfort level of them to be able to, to operate
like,
that way is.
He's saying that, so why can't we say?
Yeah, he's like, we're protecting. One of us is in office. We're good to go. We can do whatever we want. So
we got one of us in there. We got the cousins, the uncles.
It's sad but true, and it happens every day.
It does,
but it is what it is. So, country music.
No.
Ain't it funny?
Do we have any country music on rotation on that channel? I hope not, because I always just usually hear hip hop. I don't usually hear country music.
Well, we got to change that. We will be changing that.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have said nothing.
No, you shouldn't have, because now
rewind and edit this video. You said we could.
No, you made me think about it, and you're right. I think there is a underrepresented genre on our station, and thank you for bringing that up. See, you're always making us better here, Shay.
I'm so sorry, y'all.
You're
I am
always
so
helping to make us
sorry.
better. I know my wife will be happy.
I think you misunderstood my English.
I did not.
Did I say it in Arabic? Maybe I said it in Arabic.
No, I heard you clear as
Let's
day.
rewind.
Shay said, we need more country on this station. I can't believe you wouldn't put country music on here.
Happy. I was like, yay.
Throw that into rotation.
I was like, this is why I support 93.97.
This is why I love this network,
because we don't put on country.
We don't put on that country crap.
I don't know. You have to majorly convince me by sending me a playlist, but others have attempted this task and it just doesn't work.
I mean, you like what you like. I mean, I can't. There's a couple
British accents.
There's a couple of them that I could probably send you that you'd be like, okay, this don't even really sound like country. Because a lot of times now, they have been.
They mix it with different genres. I still think it's racist.
It's now it says cultural appropriation. Now,
it
ain't even collaborative.
No. Hi, Juice. Everybody's tuned in. My sister.
What's
Hi,
up,
Barbara. Hi, Juice.
Yeah, I guess we should do. I guess we should do that. Okay, especially since everybody's here. So there's a bunch of people that know you on your.
It's like 2 people, but
live. Okay,
yeah,
so that's
2 or 3 people that know me right now.
That's a bunch, right? Can you hold 2 or 3 people in your hand? If you can't, that's a bunch.
No, well, okay, a whole bunch. Yeah, like I can hold them in my hand.
So, for those of you who may be here that don't know Shay, or I will definitely show her Kane Brown, babe. That was one of my plans. Kane Brown is actually half black.
What?
Yeah,
never knew that.
You got a real deep voice.
Yeah.
Well, we almost
I do. Yeah, I can get my
do the Kane Brown.
Hey.
All right, so I'm gonna show you some Kane. So,
okay.
For those of you who don't know Shay, she was on the show before I was even on the show.
Yeah, just a little bit before.
And then she decided that Mary Jane was more important than the Good Time Show.
Yeah,
so she got busy.
My Mary Jane dreams.
She got busy and came back a few times while I was on the show, and it was always incredible. But I want you to tell the people who may not have heard you or talked to you or know you from the show. Tell them who you are. Tell them what you do. Tell them what you're about.
Woo! And I got a couple hours.
We actually we literally do have a couple hours.
We got a couple. I'm gonna need a couple hours.
I know I'm putting you on the spot just a little bit, but like I said earlier, we were working on or are working on your show.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. And Shay's had a little bit of a hard time thinking of a name for her show. But what I want you to do is just kind of free flow tell these people, and maybe you'll be telling yourself at the same time what your show is going to be about, what you want your show to be about, what you want out of radio, the world. Like, just let people introduce people to who you are as a person. I guess
very complicated.
It's your time to shine.
I'm a very complicated person, but
she's a one-layered onion. Don't let her
one-layered onion. Oh, got me out here like a green onion. I'm like one of those really difficult onions that you have to keep peeling back and forth. And another layer grows.
Factory.
Another one grows. But I have been having a hard time naming my show. Facts. And I think I'm definitely overthinking it. But I'm a very versatile person. So what I want people to get out of my show is
wait. First start with who you are. Give people a background who you. Some of these people have never seen you. You were like what's it called? You know how like on shows like the cameo, you're cameo famous.
My cameo.
You just pop in, boop. But like now people have to really get to know who you are for real.
That's true. That's tough. Because I don't let people get to know me much.
I had to put you on.
But you had to put me on the spot. But my name is Shay.
Hi, Shay.
And I've been clean. Oh no, that's the wrong meeting. But no, my name is Shay. I have had love for radio for so long, and I can't remember how long it was. But when I was a kid, I really just always dreamed of having my own show. Um, Mainly interviewing people and like talking to people, getting in people's heads. But I am a very funny, silly, goofy, laid back person. I love to make people laugh. It just kind of comes natural.
Facts.
A lot of people don't know when I'm joking or not joking.
I can attest to that.
But I love to make people laugh. I'm an entertainer at heart, and aside from that, I have a very serious side as well. I come from a pretty versatile background of things. I started out in medical because, you grow up Middle Eastern.
Medical as in like bodies or medical marijuana?
Body, yada, yada, yada. No, medical like doctor, doctor stuff. Because, you grow up in the Middle East and, I'm Middle Eastern, Palestinian and Egyptian. For people who don't know, free Palestine. And you are pretty much chosen to be a doctor or an engineer in that field.
Is that kind of the same as like the Asian culture? How no matter what, you just that's what you're supposed
lawyer,
to do.
engineer, or a doctor. Like that's how you make the family proud. You go into those fields.
Okay, sub conversations. Hold your point. Where does that come from? Is it a thing of like you're gonna go to America and be a doctor, or do they want you to be doctors and stuff there?
Yep.
Why is that what they? Is it because of the money and the prestige, or is that just where does that come from?
The status, the status in our culture, it's all about status. It's about you being able to brag and say, I'm a doctor, or my son is a doctor, or Aside from that, though, if you want to look at it in a deeper way, which we always do.
Oh, let's go. Listen, look, we have 2 more hours. Typically, we wait till 6:30 to dive deep into stuff. No, this is the perfect time. Now we can start the deep dive. Let's get it.
If you want to dive in a bit deeper, a lot of Middle Eastern people have had to deal with displacement, right? Meaning wars and dealing with things like that. And what they have realized over the years that when the war happened and you have to pick up and leave and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Those are the careers that are able to start over anywhere they go and still be able to. It's about stability. It's about
that makes a lot of sense.
Being able to. That was my dad's words to me all the time is, what if we have to leave America? What are you going to do? He's like, you can start over anywhere in the medical field, which is true.
That's very
true. So if
I guess I never thought of it like that
way,
yeah.
And it's about stability to them. For us here, it's about following your dream, right? Because you get that chance, you get that opportunity.
You get one shot and one opportunity to seize everything
you ever wanted. That's bars for you right
Facts.
there. You need to trademark that.
I should.
Yeah. So aside from that, I went into the medical field and I probably spent close to 10 years in the medical field because that's what I thought I was supposed to be doing because I'm good at it.
As far as school, or were you working in the field?
School, work.
All combined, school
all
and
of that.
working in the
Like
field.
literally combined everything, just 10 whole years, I gained a lot. I can't say I regret it. I gained a lot. I learned a lot. Met a lot of my close friends, from working in those industries and stuff like that.
Is that where you and Juice met?
No, me and Juice actually met 5 years ago. We met through her sister.
Hey.
Yeah, her sister Eva, and we kind of became besties. Well, she was obsessed with me. And
well, we've all become besties because now
she's our bestie too.
I inducted myself into their bestie group. So quick,
you're one of the girls now.
I am one of the girls. Quick story. The first time I actually met Juice in person was like a month ago, 2 months
ago.
At the wedding was. And we just were all sitting there like, hey, like as if we had never, like we had met before. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Hi, nice to meet you.
And I forgot that y'all never met because
we forgot.
It felt like home. I'm like, oh, they family.
We forgot we hadn't
I'm like,
met.
yeah.
So if that gives you any insight to how Juice is as a person and how Shay is as a person.
Shout out to Juice.
Incredible.
She's my ride or die little, bestie. I can take her with me anywhere, but sometimes she acts a fool and
that is a mutual thing between the two of you. That is a mutual thing between the two of y'all.
Wait, what? Whose side is you on? Sometimes I be thinking
there is no
you're
sides.
Juice's friend, and then you just
there are no
chime
sides
in with me.
in Bestie Town.
Okay, so
all
you're just
one
gonna tell
side.
us about ourselves
Pretty
then.
much.
Okay, got you.
Pretty much.
I love you too, Juice. You're so sweet. Still need to be locked up sometime.
Facts.
But yeah, so spent 10 years on lockdown. That's what I call it. Being in the medical field. I did previous different things and seen a lot of things, and wish y'all people would stop putting things where they don't
In your
belong.
orifices.
Stop putting them where they don't belong.
So what department were you in? Were you a nurse? Were you
So I kind of did a little bit of different departments, as
Okay.
you would know. I worked as a nursing assistant for a while, and then I transitioned over to anesthesia.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, it was a little bit dangerous.
If anybody knew you as a human being, they would not
See
be
you
like,
on the other side.
count to 73.
God, I would pick random stuff like count to 69.
I would.
Just to freak people out.
I would
They'd
too.
be like, see you on the other side. Good night.
Anybody got the handcuffs? Or is that about to go out?
Or this is my favorite one. I'm new here. Thank you so much for letting me do this on you.
This is gonna be very memorable. First one's
Yeah.
always scary.
Yeah.
Hope this goes well.
Wish me luck.
Oh, the worst time to hear that would be, I think I've seen somebody do this as a prank, and it was a captain of a plane.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you're on the airplane and stuff. You put on you buckle in your seatbelt, and then the pirate is like, boom. Hello, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining Pilot Shay and co-pilot Kujo.
Is this thing on?
You know who I would be though? I would be Snoop from Soul Plane. I couldn't be
Yeah.
trusting myself to fly no plane, none of that, because I would be high.
Can you imagine when they used to allow you to smoke on planes?
I think it was great. I wish I would have grew up during the time
Nah,
when we
cool.
could smoke weed on the plane.
I'm sure.
Well, I don't know.
I
No,
am
it wouldn't have
good
been
on all
weed
that.
though. They would have just let you smoke cigarettes, which would have
How
been
do you know?
gross.
How do you know?
You're right, because ain't no rules in the air, baby.
Exactly.
Ain't no rules in the
We
air.
ain't gotta follow.
Okay?
We in space, baby.
I'm
We
an
get
alien
high.
right now.
We get high above the clouds.
Yeah, I would be like Snoop Dogg, or I would be like Denzel on Flight. You know what I'm saying? Like I would still be
Yeah,
good
he
because
was
I'm
lit.
good. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
I'm
once you
good.
hit the autopilot, you should be straight. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Don't blame me. Your plane's
I've done this.
autopilot sucked.
Did you see though the one dude that did fly that one plane? He stole a plane from the airport. He worked at the airport.
Oh yeah.
Stole the plane and
Yeah.
flew it in the air. And the dude was like, "Do you have any experience flying airplanes before?" And he said, "No, I
do
did this on a
today.
video game before."
I do today, baby.
So I mean, why not? I can do it. I can
Do
I can
today.
perform surgery on people.
I
who want to,
believe
so
I
many
can
surgeries.
fly.
What? You got to bring up R. Kelly.
Hey, y'all gonna leave
If
Robert
Princess was
alone,
here,
man.
she ain't gonna be mad.
She
ain't
probably
be
gonna
happy.
pop back up at any point in time. Like, what I tell you
I'll be
about
like, you
Robert?
are not allowed to bring that man's name on the radio.
Listen, it's on the internet and it can't be taken off, so I can
No,
sing it.
And I was just listening to one of his songs. This is the remix to Ignition.
That's the jam.
I'm fresh out the
I hate that.
kitchen.
Okay, we ain't even gonna get into
we
Robert.
can't, we
Anyway,
can't.
so you were a nurse. You went through anesthesia. That's where we ended.
Yes, yep. So I worked in anesthesia for a bit, and then I decided, I want to take it a little bit notch further and go to respiratory school. Worst decision of my life.
That's where. Okay, that's what I remember.
You met me.
I couldn't
Let's
remember.
go to respiratory therapy.
So you were still in respiratory therapy school when we met.
Yep.
So
I was
this
finishing
is very recent.
Yeah.
then.
Wait, no, I met
That's
you
last
after.
year.
I met you after.
I was gonna say because
Yeah.
I've been here. October 11th was my 1 year.
Yep.
Here with the station.
Oh yeah, no, I met you after because I
Okay.
was with cannabis for about 2 years when you met me.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
I think that was one of the first things that you told me though is that you were in the respiratory because I thought it was. I'm
Sadly,
like, how genius.
depressingly,
No,
yeah.
but what a genius transition from
Yeah.
respiratory to that because
Yep.
everybody's like, oh, it's gonna mess your lungs up, and you're like,
Actually, let me explain to you how
Actually.
this stuff really works.
I used to be a respiratory
I do
therapist.
tell that to people.
I bet.
It'll be like one time I was doing a podcast and they're like, "You're not even inhaling the weed." I said, "You know what? I usually ignore comments, but let me take them. I got time today, cuz." I said, "I got time. Let me explain something to you." People hit the weed and then they inhale, they like hold on to it, right?
yeah,
'Cause they
but
think
it's gonna
that,
seep.
but you
right?
don't need to do that. The minute the smoke touches your mouth, it's already in your bloodstream.
Oh.
So holla at me if y'all want more lessons on how to smoke. Holla at me, but
You really want to know?
I had to check some people on the
Hey,
podcast.
you gotta do
like excuse me.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah. So from there, I decided to get a part-time job at a dispensary, and I was just like a receptionist,
Right.
just a person at the front desk smiling. Hi, how you doing? Can I have your ID?
Hi.
Then from
Being
there,
all super fake.
they were like, "Wow, you are really good." Just my supervisors were like, "Man, like we just never met nobody like you. Like You should be in the Olympics. I just want to see if you were listening. But yeah, so they
you
were
know
like,
I'm listening. Look,
they're like, we like you.
Allow me to explain further. Like I told y'all before, we don't have a street team to send our show out to people. So
Nope.
I sit here while I'm on the show and I multitask and I send it out. So please,
multitask?
if you are
Sheesh.
listening or watching on our YouTube, please send this out, share this, let everybody know.
Share our stuff.
Shay is opening herself up to y'all and letting y'all know who she is,
For
which
free.
is rare. Right,
Usually
for
only
the free.
She's
She's doing it
I don't
today.
have OnlyFans. I don't. If my
She's
dad's listening,
doing
I
it
do
today,
not have
baby.
an OnlyFans. It was a joke.
She's lying.
Only feet though, but not OnlyFans.
Feet finder.
Okay,
Hello.
you know what it is. You got your feet on there, don't you? Or you're on there buying.
I'm trying to get I'm like conditioning my feet for their debut. So I think it's gonna take a couple weeks before they're like prime photo ready.
I'm good on your feet, but holla at me, Courtney, if you
her feet are just as
team.
bad as mine. She got one toe that looked like he got his neck broke. It's hilarious.
You know, some people got fetishes for that. So Courtney, holla at me. We can do corny feet.
Oh,
holla at me. You know, highly exclusive. Shout out to highly exclusive events. If you are not following them, follow them.
Follow.
Yeah, but anyways, aside from that, we keep getting distracted.
Yeah.
So I started working at a dispensary and kind of worked my way up and went from, being a receptionist to managing one of the biggest cannabis, companies in the state.
Yes.
Then from there, I decided I've already done everything I can in this industry to benefit my learning.
And
now I am
glad
out.
You did.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So now I'm out. The cannabis industry was
fresh out.
Started. Fresh out of jail. Another one. Another sentence. You know what I'm saying?
So how long did you do in total?
In cannabis, I did about 3.5.
Can of jail.
3.5. I got out on good behavior. Got out early.
Are you still on can of probation? Are you free? You free to go?
Free. But I do dabble in my own little entrepreneur stuff.
All right, there we go.
Like, I'll tell you about it in private.
Yeah, because I don't want the people showing up.
Yeah, but I do some partnerships with different cannabis people around in the state, and I like to collaborate with a lot of women in this industry.
Good.
A lot of women and a lot of minority women in this industry because we are really underrepresented as growers, as leaders, as bosses. Like you just don't see it in this cannabis field.
True.
It's dominated by men, by sick men. A lot of y'all.
I mean, you got to understand too. For those of you who aren't into the cannabis life or know anything about the switch between cannabis being legal and now the fight to make it legal and how it's been far more legalized than it ever has been. Mm-hmm. Marijuana now you can literally go to the weed store. It's recreational in a lot of places. So I think unlike a lot of other businesses and a lot of other corporations, the culture in the cannabis world is far different because the people that are CEOs and growers and all that were drug dealers.
That's true.
We're typically criminals, right?
Crooks.
So they come from having to be shady, having to hide, having to do illegal things, to now being the heads of these corporations. So it has to be a little bit harder for anybody working there to expect it to be like a Fortune 500 company ladder because it's not.
Nope. And you're right. It is a lot of ex-drug dealers and a lot of people that did this game illegally, and now they're like, well, how can we still profit off of it legally? And then they came in with the same mentality. When some of us are like, let's better this, let's make it corporate brand, let's make it for the people, let's make it where we can do affordable medication for these people without having to go to the hood, without having to risk your life, without having to get set up, to get stuff that benefits you. And a lot of people that used to frequent the dispensary are older people, are veterans, and people who deal with these side effects of different things in life. And this plant just so happened to help them. So it's amazing the transformation. No, but do I want it to go federally legal? Absolutely not.
Why?
Because I see the transition in Canada. They're federally legal, have a lot of family in the industry over there. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's very controlled by the government. So like here, you get the
everything.
Yes, you get the opportunity to grow your own. There's different growers, so like you can go from one dispo to another and like kind of dictate where you want to buy your stuff. Over there, the government selects who grows, and then from there, everyone has access to your genetics. Yes, so there is no exclusive genetics. Everybody gets the same weed for the same price. So you're not going to be able to compete. It will make profit. So to me,
that's not good.
I'm good on that. I'd rather have a bunch of people growing, and
I'd rather it still be kind of illegal, so it still feels cool.
Still feels good, because like after you turn 21 and you're like able to like drink legally, you're like, this is ghetto.
Yeah, there's a whole different. It's the chase, I guess. It's the illustrious.
Yeah, sneaking in the club, stealing, all that. Not me, allegedly though.
Allegedly. I've never been convicted. I would never.
I would. I would only go to prison if it was federal prison. Then I feel like my family would be proud, like,
because you didn't just do no punk
my
ass.
dad to just be like, oh yes, my daughter, she's in prison.
County jail.
The county jail, like, what an insult,
loser.
How
dare you?
My dad's like talking to my family overseas, bragging, yes, my daughter, she's still $2 million, she's federal prison, but we live good.
I wouldn't be proud of you unless it was like you're like the Tinder swindler and you had a whole
scam. Like,
you better have a show made about you before I'm gonna be proud of you.
There's gonna be a show made about me because I'm scamming everybody.
Yeah, because I'm trying to make a show about you.
Yeah, because tax time is coming up.
Scamming everybody.
Y'all want me to help you make 1,000 in the file?
Of course, my wife comes on here and says federal prisons are nice. She used to be a CO.
Oh, thank you, Courtney. That just confirms what I want my future to be.
Okay, so let's wrap people up into what they've learned about Shay. So Shay,
bullet point,
used to be in the medical field, right? In the in the body field.
Bing.
Okay. Then she switched over to weed medical field.
Bing.
She allegedly did some stuff in the not legal part of, but people won't talk. We won't talk about none of that.
Allegedly.
Now she has ditched all of those things.
Everything.
Forget the betterment of your bodies. She wants to pursue radio and better your mind.
Oh,
you forgot a portion of something else that you do, though. You completely left it out.
Yes, I do. I also sell real estate.
Look,
and I am a licensed realtor.
Isn't that the most hilarious part about being a realtor, though? Like every realtor has a story of what they did pre-realty.
Yeah.
I was an MMA fighter, and then I did heroin for 72 years.
And now I'm clean. It's so funny you say that because everyone that does real estate is clean. I've been clean for 3 years. I've been clean for 4 years. And I'm like,
because when you get your life together, you finally figure out, like, I should probably grow up and get
stop doing coke in the bathroom.
And I should figure out, like, but here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that I realized about my life, right? So I've done a lot of things in my life. I've been a lot of places, and I've tried a lot of things.
Legal stuff.
Legal. I've done it all, allegedly. Allegedly. So when you go through all of that, you kind of figure out what works, what doesn't work. You quickly figure out how to survive, for one, and
that's true.
And to be completely honest with you, you figure out quickly what's bullshit and what's not.
Yeah.
And that goes with jobs too.
Mm-hmm.
I think when those of us who have been through the gamut of stuff, we really value life a little more. So looking at that deadbeat 9-to-5 job that could get you a good paycheck, but it really isn't going to go nowhere in the long haul. Those of us that have been through it are like, I ain't wasting my time on that.
Like, but it's about what motivates you every day. Some people are motivated by that Friday check, that same $500 every single week. They're motivated by that, and that's cool.
Yeah, but that's when they know.
That's
when they know they sack of rocks or sack of weed only go cost $200.
That's
and they're like, oh, I got $300 extra.
I'm good.
I'm sure all I need is $500.
Buy me my new J's, and I'm satisfied. And some people are not motivated by that. I'm not motivated by money. I'm not motivated by a paycheck. I like purpose. I really do. I like purpose.
Right.
And when people talk to me or when they're done talking to me,
repurposing
repurpose in your mind. I am here to repurpose your mind.
To repurpose your mind and your 3-bedroom ranch.
And yes.
Come on, shades or something.
Just be seductive. Yeah. So just being that person that can educate people without feeling offended and things like that. Like a lot of people don't ask certain questions about certain cultures or certain backgrounds. Sometimes because they don't want to get beat up, and other times it's because it's embarrassing.
Facts.
And I really like to keep that open when I talk to people from different cultures, and I don't assume that they know. It's a lot of mysteries about different cultures and things like that. And I like to educate. I like to educate and entertain. E&E, you know what I'm saying? Educate and entertain.
I like that. Did you just make that up?
I really just did. Yeah.
I'm gonna steal that one. Here on the Good Time Show, we like the E&E.
We like to E&E, baby.
Educate
okay.
and entertain.
Oh,
okay. So you wait. Okay, I won't even steal it from you because you do have.
That's okay. You
well,
can.
But you got a whole show to. You have a whole show to populate still.
I'll still stuff from you too on the show. You're gonna be like, wait. I said that.
That's my whole segment. Did you just rewatch my show?
Get on there. Plagiarism rights. I'm gonna change a couple words around.
In case you missed Kujo talking on the air, do my whole.
He said he
spiel.
liked country, so I'm gonna replace that.
Do my whole spiel.
Yeah, why not?
Well, let me tell you this. I am very excited for you. I'm very excited about the journey that you've been on so far. Just the little bit of time that I have known you, you've been a great addition to my life.
Aw, stop! You're gonna make me cry. And, that's I don't want to cry on
That's
air.
what we're here for. I was telling my wife, I think I was telling you and Princess as well. Like there's very few people on this planet that I still even like to talk to. I've gotten really ornery and I've gotten really angry in my old age. Oh yeah, I can't.
That's what comes with age.
My fuse is incredibly short.
Yeah.
I don't like to argue. I don't like the BS. Honestly, I don't even like the small talk much anymore.
Me too. I hate small talk. I like a good conversation.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Yeah. I don't got time for it.
I think that's why whenever I meet people, conversations go deep real fast.
Yeah.
They start telling me things about their marriage and things about their life and things like that. And I used to be burdened by that, like back in the day. So like, oh my God, like why are these people telling me this? But then I'm like, maybe that's my gift, just to get people to open up and talk about those things.
I've always been that way too. I've always called myself a sociologist since birth because for some reason I've always been able to kind of tap into people and understand.
You are
and
good
connect.
At that. Mm-hmm.
It's just something I've always been able to do. So
you give a different perspective on things, and I can honestly always say that you have a different take.
I've learned from moving around so much for one. And I think to it on a deeper, more philosophical level, I think what it came down to was the more I moved around and knowing that I looked so much different and was from different places than everybody else I was around, it made me have to find a way that I could connect and I could become relevant faster.
For everybody.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to think I think I was 5 or 6 when I moved from North Carolina. So obviously I'm still very young, still figuring life out. I moved to a completely different country. And we lived in this hotel called the Amelia Earhart Hotel for I don't know how long. We were there for a while. So there's all kinds of different people all the time. Kids, and there was no deep connections or long time friendships or any of that. I had to get used to meeting someone, becoming friends quickly, and trying to forge that friendship very fast, and of course you long for people, you long for familiarity, you long for somebody that you can have around you
absolutely
constantly,
especially when you're moving around so much in different cultures and different language, it's hard.
So you got to learn how to mix and mesh, and you have to that's a skill you just pick up if you care enough to be liked, or if you want to connect, if you want any of that, if that's something that you desire. You have to learn you got to learn how to glean that out of every single situation. It's kind of like
being a chameleon. You have to kind of be a chameleon everywhere you go.
In turn, what happens is you figure out how to, like, I forget what movie it was. I think it was not Tom Cruise, but Tom Hanks, or it was about a guy who was always on business trips and he was flying around all the time.
It was Tom Hanks, Lost in Translation.
That's what it was.
My dad loves that.
And he said something about single serving friends.
Yes.
And that hit me so deep.
Single serving
friends, just like on an airplane. Like on an airplane, you get a single serving, but and that person that sits next to you, you have that time and you become friends. You talk deep, and then you never see them again. If it was an interesting enough person, you'll stay awake.
I eat so many edibles before I get on the plane.
Mikey T, the Tejada boys in the building. You guys are family. So he said, when you were out here, you fit right in with our family. It was always fun having you around. I literally consider you guys family like that. You guys accepted me in and having me, and they're a Hispanic family. Yeah. Like their grandmas and grandpas like speak straight up Spanish. Like I tasted menudo for the first time.
Oh,
you know,
probably
what I mean?
Get out
like,
the good food. That's why my best friend's Mexican. I get all kinds of good food.
Oh yeah. So I truly learned how to like I said, glean the best out of, and it also teaches you how to weed through the bullshit in
Yeah.
somebody.
Oh yeah. Especially
And it
people.
teaches you how to see who is truly good people.
Yeah.
And like I said, the Tejeda boys, all that whole entire family out there, tell everybody I said what up. That is a
What up,
great
though?
that is a great group of human beings.
Yeah, to be around. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So when I was in high school, I won an award called the Peacemaker Award.
Peacemaker.
I would get brought down to the office to talk to kids that they were having a hard time getting through to. Right.
Wow.
Because of
I would have just thought you would have been the shit starter.
No, not at all. Oh, I was the me you know now. I was me, but more.
Do you have pictures
way
of you
more,
when you were a nerd?
I do.
Can you send them to us so we can put them on the network?
There's some people. Robin just joined. I know Robin from college.
Who knows Kujo when he was a nerd?
She knew me when I had spiky white boy hair. I'll show you some pictures.
Did
I did. I definitely did. And it was the greatest thing in the world. And
I went through an emo phase, but that was really bad.
I wouldn't say I was emo, but I put hair gel in. Like I relaxed my hair and used to put hair gel in it and all. And that was a part of me trying to fit in. And I knew at that point I had a gimmick because I was a black dude. And if I could relax my hair and do the spiky and wear this, they'd be like, oh my God, he's cool.
He's cool.
He's not threatening. He's a non-threatening. He's one of the good ones. You know? And I wish now I wouldn't have felt the need to do that. But at the end of the day, it molded who I am now.
Yeah, but
and
you grew up in a different time too. So people that may not be able to relate to you
really act like I grew up in the 50s.
No. I mean, me too. Like me too.
Back in your day.
Me too. Like back in our day. Like my nephew told me I was born in the late 1900s the other day.
My kids say that all the time.
You can't lose. You know what I'm saying?
Say that all the time.
But we did grow up in a different time.
We did.
It wasn't like it is now. It was a bit harder, and I can contest to that because I moved here from a different country.
Mm-hmm.
And with that said, I was lost between black and white because I don't look like either one, right? Like at least you have black people. You could be like, oh, I like no, or did you still feel lost because
and that was the worst part. The worst part was me growing up. The worst part was because I gravitated towards the white culture and I was displaying how I dressed, the music I listened to, my hair, for God's sake.
So you were never white enough.
I was never black enough. Right. Like I felt more comfortable hanging out with white folks because they would, even though the undertones may have been racist or they might even have said blatantly racist things, I felt like I was in less danger or I felt a little more accepted
when you hung out with
they were willing to accept me because they needed a black kid in the crew.
Yeah.
Because it was cool to have a black friend. But when I went,
it was the complete opposite.
When I went to the black neighborhoods or tried to hang out with a group of black people, I was that goofy black kid that act white. Now, don't nobody want to hang out with that.
See, for me, I didn't gravitate toward Arab people. Arab friends and things like that. It was really hard for me to blend in with them because we had different upbringings. Even people that were from the same country as me. When I came here, I had a different outlook on what it was here, So when I started going to school and I was in a predominantly white people area and then there was black people there, but there wasn't any other races, I kind of got used to being an outcast there, but I didn't feel comfortable with white people as much as I felt with the black kids in the school because
no matter what, you have brown skin.
It wasn't even that. It was like white people, like the white kids at the school were so cruel because I didn't speak the same English as them or I didn't look the same, and it was like they made fun of you, but it was just that. Now, black kids made fun of me too.
Oh, they're gonna cap on you.
I mean,
they're gonna cap on you, but it
me,
was in commiserate. It was in
taught me. They would say like, "Hey, man, don't say that
like,
no more."
That's how we
say this.
That's how we get down.
But Kujo, it took me years to really understand like why they treated me that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt
the white people or the black people or both. Okay.
White people felt like I was the outcast,
culture shock.
They were just like, "Whatever, you don't belong here."
Right.
Black people, the black kids, I felt like identified with me at some point because they felt like I had to do an extra step to be accepted, which is kind of what they dealt with growing up, right? So like
it was like they accepted you by default because they understood what you were going through.
Even though it was a completely different struggle,
no matter what.
Different struggle, but it was a struggle.
But here's the thing, like they say, not to take it to the enemies the enemies thing, but an enemy of my enemy is my friend, right?
Yeah.
So the white people treated you and the black cats the same.
The same.
They discriminated against you all. But then you guys got to talking and being like, "Oh, you weirdo, you do this."
You
okay,
weird
well,
too, yeah.
they don't like either one of us, so we got to kick it.
Yep.
We got to band together.
It felt more comfortable,
right?
And I remember
that makes a lot of sense.
My stepmom is white, and I know, right?
Shame.
I know. So, when we moved here, we were living with her, and I remember her one time like freaking out because I came home with braids. Right? Like I came home with Alicia Keys braids because I watched Alicia Keys
with
on
the barrettes
TV,
or
without the barrettes. But I thought Alicia Keys was so beautiful.
She is.
So I told my homegirl in school, I'm like, I want to look like her. I didn't know who she was yet. Right. You know what I'm saying? So she gave me braids, and my hair, my hair's long and it's thick. So she was like, hell yeah, I'll do your hair.
Loving it.
So when I got home, my stepmom was like low-key freaking out. Like, oh, your daughter's trying to be black and da-da-da. And my dad was like, what? Like, it's a hairstyle. Like, to him, it didn't mean much. But to her, it was like, oh, my God. She's going with the other gang. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's repping blue, we red. Like, this is bad, And to me, that's
she
when
felt
I started
her credit
to
score go down a couple points.
Yeah,
as you walk in the house
she
like
about to start hanging out with black people, And then my dad did another culture shock and moved us out to the suburbs, but with Chaldean people, and Chaldean people don't like Arab people.
Different story.
It was a worse story because it's like I understood why white people didn't like me,
but
I
feel
it's
like Chaldean people don't like nobody.
Like, no, Chaldeans they don't even like themselves. Facts. So to me in school, like I stayed away from Arab people and Chaldean people because I felt like they pretended like Arab people were better. And I really hated that concept. I don't, as much as I am proud of where I come from and, and everything about my race, I will never come here and say my race is better than another person's race. No culture is better than another culture. So I hate that mentality of Arab people when they think
I'm better than a lot of people, but
I'm
not because of your culture.
But not my culture.
I'm just kidding.
And people be like, I love everybody equally. Well, I don't. I hate everybody equally because we're all ignorant.
So I used to on that note, a lot of things have changed for me, like I was saying, and mine used to be, trust everybody until they break your trust. But these days,
you gotta earn mine.
You can't even earn my trust. I've built a wall around my life. I'm so serious. I've built a large wall around my life.
Do you think that comes from your PTSD of dealing with people in the past that have broken your trust or maybe didn't come through for you as a friend?
Yes. I would say some of it, but I think it really comes down to I've tried so much and so hard all of my life to be this great friend, or, granted, I wasn't perfect. I'm not perfect now. And I've done a lot of damage to a lot of relationships because of who I was or what I was. When you say who I was, what I was going through during those times, I was, trying to grow and going through some deep ish or whatever the case may be. But I always had the intention of trying to be the best friend, the best person, the best human being I can be to all these people, and being so open and honest and trying to be so available for everybody and this, that, and the other thing. It really started, I think, for me when I was in the military and I'd come home every year, and all of the people that I thought were my closest friends. And the reason why I missed home so much, I would come fly home, and then it was like, oh, I'm busy, or I got this, go come see me, come drive to me, come see. Yeah, when I was
when I was gone
on the other side, oh man, I wish you were here. Oh man, if you were here,
that's that fake energy.
So over the years, doing that, it kind of whittled me down a little bit, and then it got to the point where I'm like, okay, well, I'm coming home, and if you don't drive to see me, I don't care if I don't see you. And then it came to a point of I really don't care to see you, and then it came to a point of I really don't even care to have you in my life anymore. So now it's at the point where, I've been back in Michigan for 3 years now, and there are still people who I considered best friends, brothers, sisters, whatever the case may be, that I haven't seen.
Wow. Now, 3 years though? 3 years. That's a long time.
Now COVID hit when I got back, so that was a big thing, and understandable. But in that time, I've had a house fire. I lost my entire house.
Right, yeah, that's tough.
I've had twins.
Yeah,
I've had,
that's
what I mean? All these things have happened. I started this dream job. So all these big life things have happened, and those people that...
I feel like we just need to do a whole interview episode with you.
People keep telling me, they're
did
like,
we ever really do that? Do people really know who you are, or are we just like freestyling it?
Nope. No,
All right, I'm like one of my first 5 episodes of my show. You have to be one of my guests, so we just gotta.
I will come on your show, and I will tell you everything. I don't know if I've ever even put the timeline together of my
like have you
entire
ever,
life,
hey cuz?
like flow of consciousness, just from the start to finish. I kind of want to. I was talking to my wife about it the other day because I have this uncanny ability to predict what's going to happen in a show or a movie, like to the T. Like
you sound like my dad. That's why we can't watch movies together.
She says it all the time. She's like, I can't watch shit.
My dad be like, he's the killer. I'm like, come
to
on,
the point,
man.
I'm so deep with it that I start predicting lines. Like, ask my wife. Ask my wife.
Sitting there watching the show behind Courtney's back and then rewinding it and rewatching it when she comes and sits with you and like, hello, mate.
Ask her. She'll tell you.
Oh, I believe you.
My baby girl is
that's
watching.
A talent,
Thank
though.
you, baby. I'm so proud of you too. I'm so glad
so
you're
sweet.
Watching. And then Zamoody Booty checking in.
Zamoody
Booty in his house.
Zamoody, yeah.
But yeah, I'll guess the next words.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. But I was telling her that I'm like, I definitely need to. That's so frustrating. I definitely need to write a book, and I was telling her that I think doing a book or a movie or a show or some sort loosely based on my life would be, of course, anybody's going to say it'd be interesting, but I truly think, if nothing else, I think somebody could learn from it or gain something from it, because who I am now, I'm very proud to be who I am now, and anybody who has been in my life from the jump, I think, can agree that I've come out on the better side of what it could have turned out to be.
Absolutely.
And I will always be proud of that. I used to also be someone who was very scared to give myself credit and kudos because I didn't want to seem like I was egotistical, or I didn't want to seem like I thought I was better than anybody. But when it comes down to it, I'm better than a lot of people. I'll say that out loud, and I believe in that. I believe in myself.
You gotta.
Very happy with who I am as a person. Yeah. Look at who I'm married to. That's the greatest woman on this planet.
She is the sweetest lady ever.
And she loves me and decided to have, you know what I mean? So if there's anything on this planet,
that loyal partner, I swear, like it's nothing.
And that's another part of it.
Yeah,
like,
to have that loyal partner.
I literally feel like you only had, like, you could have poured into the gates until the moment that I met her, and that's when the gates closed. Because honestly, I don't need anybody else in my life. The people that I have, the people that weathered the storm, the people that jumped on the ark with me, the people that went through the flood
are all you need. Now
that's it.
You're not picking up no extra passengers.
Now, am I saying that I won't meet some incredible people throughout the rest of my life and that they'll come? Yeah, of course I will. And I will definitely accept them. And you're not going to have to go through a trial. But I'll know. Yeah, I'll know when I meet you. You know what I mean? There's going to be those people. Like when we met, we clicked instantly.
That's it.
If it's not like that, it won't happen. It won't happen.
Yeah.
I don't need it. I don't want it.
It is a lot about life experiences, and you kind of you get to a point where you are able to read people's intentions. And to me, a lot of times it's the principle, right? Yeah. I'm big on principle, and even if you are busy and life does get, love does get in the way. It does get in the way.
It does.
But there's always a way to show people that you care about them and you appreciate them without you having to go so far.
Case in point. My wife and I have a couple that we're really good friends with back in California, and we're horrible at making phone calls. Her and I don't ever call anybody, but they consistently make sure they call us or text us, or you know what I mean? So we talk to them all the time, and we're at fault for not hitting them up more. We definitely need to contact them more, but we don't. Yet they still hit us up all the time. We talk all the time.
Loyalty.
Text all the time. Yeah. That's love. That's loyalty. That's love. That's cool.
And that's that's them understanding that you guys maybe are busy, or you got something going on that you couldn't make that phone call, right? I mean, I wouldn't expect you to even remember who your friends are. You got 8 friends already, 8 broke friends.
Got a lot of kids, man.
Right?
There's a lot going on, and that goes back to what I was saying about when I would come to visit. Like, okay, I'm coming from the other side of the world, right? The other side of the country, and I'm flying in here, and I'm here for 3 days. You can't make the time to make sure I have to change my plans around to make sure I come to you specifically. And my dumbass was doing it every time because I needed that validation. Yeah. I needed that love. Like it hurt me so bad when I would come home and the group of people I was kicking it with, like that all still hang out from high school. I was like, I wanted to be around them and be in that crew so badly, but realizing that at the end of the day, none of them truly really ever thought of me as part of the group, or like, Yeah, like throughout the years as they've been getting married and all that kind, I was never invited to any of the wedding. Like I'm like, okay, so we actually aren't as close as I thought we were, which isn't any of their faults by any means. But I grew up, or when I was gone, I was holding on to all these people as if they were super close friends of mine, and it turned out they're just acquaintances and people I knew from high school.
Yeah.
They're no longer privy to being called my close friends, which I'm sure none of them give a shit about anyway.
No.
I cared about that.
But
that was my thing.
I feel like every friendship kind of is like a chapter in a book. You know what I mean? Like,
I miss you too, darling.
You need that chapter in the book, but it's not your whole book. You know what I mean? And those friendships, or however way they ended or whatever, I always tell myself, like, I'm going to continue to be me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let that affect me. But at the same time, I'm more aware.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm more aware of how much energy I put into a friendship and how much I'm getting.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I absolutely love and care for, and if any of those people needed me, or whatever the case is, I would 100% be there.
You win the lotto, you still talk to them?
Hell no.
Okay.
I'm
like, you ain't that good of a person.
But that's okay.
Now.
But that's a good point though. That's a good point though. If I won the lotto, I would not feel the responsibility to help any of them out.
No.
At all.
What if they asked you for help?
Absolutely not.
Would you tell them
because
no?
look at all the things I've been through.
Yep. And where have y'all been?
I've gotten no call, no how you doing, no none of that. I'm not expecting anybody to bail me out of anything or financially help me by any means, but as close as close as I thought we were, or as close as Darla's one of the people that I did speak to when I had the fire at my house, and I met Darla through a whole other group of friends. Like, it wasn't like we went to high school together, none of that. Like, we met through a bunch of random people, and we spoke a few times.
But I think everybody's definition of friendship is different, and
people need different things to qualify as friends. Yeah, and I guess nobody knew, or nobody thought deep enough into what a friendship is for me, or what I would require. Yep. So I guess.
And a lot of times it's our fault too, because we don't communicate those needs, because
but you
it's
shouldn't
uncomfortable.
Have to, though.
You do have to, because everybody has a different love language and a different way of showing appreciation and love to someone.
Right.
So in their mind, them liking your post could have been enough for them.
I don't even get that.
Let's just say, them liking your post is enough. But to people like me and you, they might not be enough. We might want a phone call. We might want a text message or a conversation, but we don't communicate those needs as friends. You focus more on that in a relationship, but even as friendships, you know, like some friends like to talk on the phone all day.
Right.
Some friends don't. Does it mean that your relationship is better than theirs? It just means that they show each other love and communicate differently, and we never really take the time to communicate. Like, for example, like, let's say you didn't acknowledge my birthday or didn't show up to my birthday party.
Don't say that, because I'm horrible with birthdays.
We just ignore it, right? Right.
Yeah.
You're horrible with birthdays. To me, I might have took it really personal.
Because I didn't.
But if I would have picked up that phone and said...
But see, now, if you've known somebody for that long, you would know that.
True.
If you truly had that issue, you would know. But if
you also know me for that long, you would know that I would love a happy birthday call from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that could have went as me picking the phone up and saying March 1st. March 1st. You
I don't know if I told you happy birthday. I don't think I told you happy birthday. I got you next year though. No. But you got remind me on the day before though.
Remind me 2 days.
Let me know. See, that's how
remind me, Shay.
But this is now. Here's the difference. See, now we're communicating about this. Now we know. So we're good. That doesn't mean.
And like, to me,
I'm still probably not gonna remember.
To you, they may not be. I'm
just bad at
you better remember it.
But I mean, the point is, though, to the whole, it wasn't deep enough to be like, listen, and obviously, not obviously, but honestly, I have a lot of people that I know. I know a lot of people. So I can't expect all of these people that I've known or been in contact with, or even in close friend groups with, to expect me to expect things out of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where I think how do I even say it?
Just say it.
I'm trying to figure out how to word it. I think I held them in a higher regard than I think they realized.
I think you held them to the same expectations as you would have.
You would have done. I had an ex-girlfriend tell me one time when we broke up. I'll remember this to this day, because it was the funniest thing for me to hear, because I felt like it was true, and I thought she was gonna be right, And until I met my wife, I felt like she was right. She
it?
was like, you expect too much out of people. Nobody's ever going to be you. And nobody's ever going to treat you like you treat people because you expect way too much out of everybody. And I was like, what does that mean? She goes, you love so hard, you trust so hard, you try to be perfect for everybody, and nobody is you, and you'll never
Nobody's gonna
find
be
that.
perfect for you. Yeah,
I was like, yo, that's deep.
that's deep.
But the hurtful part of that it was like, why is that a bad thing? Why is it a bad thing that I want so badly for everybody to love me and for me to love everybody and for everybody to be happy? It was exhausting.
Yeah.
And I spent and that brings me right back to the point of why I said I put a wall up now, because I'm just absolutely exhausted when it comes to forging friendships.
Exerting yourself and putting in all the effort.
I don't have it in me anymore. I really don't. And then people will tell you, oh, well, you can't just close yourself off. And well,
you
do you understand that? For all of these years, it's all I've been doing. It's all I was. It was who I was focused on.
And
being.
Now you have something else to focus on, and
I
that's
don't
your
need
kids.
It anymore.
That's your kids, your career, and what you have passion to do.
I was at a student council retreat one time, and we went to like these cabins up on Lake Michigan, I think it was, and it was beautiful, awesome time. So we were around the campfire, and there was like an honesty section where you were supposed to. Everybody goes around the circle, and they tell that person one thing about themselves that they can work on, or like that, whatever the case may be. Do you know the majority of the people told me that I need to work on not
being too nice?
Basically, like you care too much about everybody else and not yourself.
Right.
And like to hear that all your life is like, what does this mean? This is so backwards. Like, what do y'all mean? Like, what is that supposed to mean?
Right. Yeah.
What do you want me to do? Be mean to everybody? Is this what you're asking me to do? Like, I don't know how to do that. But now I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
Because now the focus is not on me per se, but it's on my kids, it's on my wife, it's on the betterment of our circle and our family, and the station and the shows here. Like, other than that though,
I'm good.
I don't have I got no bromance. I got no homies I go golf with. I got no I don't go kick it with
fishing or
horseback riding. I don't go anywhere. I don't do ish.
Yeah.
I'm with my family or I'm here at the station, and that's about the gist of it. And that is absolutely fine to me.
Fine.
I'm all right
For
with
real.
that.
Like, I feel like whatever fulfills your needs at the end of the day, and when you go to bed, you feel fulfilled and happy.
Yeah.
Can't nobody really tell you different.
I just feel like everything else is fake now, because it's like, especially what made it worse for me is when I quit drinking. Once I quit drinking, it's like
that's 90% of your friends.
Where do
things that you've done.
What do we do now when we're trying to catch up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same.
It really puts that strain, or it really will show you the veil between if you're actual friends or if you were drinking buddies.
Yeah.
Because it really,
what are we going to do together? Once I stopped drinking,
what are we going to do together? What are we going to go sit and drink tea? I don't drink tea with you.
I feel the same way when my friends get pregnant. I know it sounds sad, but
like, what are we going to do together?
What are we going to do? Like, we normally smoke and go hang out, but it's like now you're pregnant.
I also don't smoke weed anymore. Yeah. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke weed. I don't drink energy drinks anymore. It's been 21st will be a month. So now, honestly, for real, now, like, when you could typically be like, yeah, let's meet up for a beer and catch up. Cool. Really, the whole crux of that thing is the beer.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's sitting next to you. You're somewhere drinking a beer.
Yeah.
But if it's just let's meet up and catch up.
Let's get a non-alcoholic beer real quick.
I'm cool.
Yeah. I hate when people are like, why are you not drinking? Why do I have to give a reason?
It's so hard for people to understand.
Why can't I just not drink?
It's so hard for people to understand.
Drinking makes me become a bad person.
Drinking makes everybody become a bad person.
Drinking just makes me become a bad person and do bad things. And send us what you're doing text late at night.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna do that.
Whew.
So, yeah.
Man. All right. Well,
he had a flashback. He had a flashback to the what you doing text.
Ew. That was a different time in my life. I'm not that man anymore.
Send out too many of them what you doing text and get 5 responses back. You like shit.
Wow, I never got 5. People assume that I always did well in the female department. I was everybody's friend.
Oh,
I was friend zoned.
You got friend zoned because you were too nice.
110%.
Because you were too nice.
Apparently.
That's what it is. Yeah, because you were too nice.
They must have assumed
I was a pimp back in my day, but I'm retired now.
Like a pimp.
Like a pimp.
I believe it too.
But I'm retired now.
I believe it too.
It's hard.
Well, now you know a lot more about Shay and I.
A lot more.
I feel like it's good to open up and talk about who you are deep inside.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you hide that, then people have a way to treat you a way you don't want to be treated.
That's true. That's 100% true. Yeah.
So these days,
and you kind of just put it out here in the front, like this is who I am. And if I'm not your cup of tea, I'm not nobody's cup of tea because I'm not. Even,
I don't want to be your cup of tea.
Exactly.
I don't want to be anybody's cup of tea but my wife.
I want to be your drugs.
Put it this way.
Tea is boring.
Put it this way.
I'm psychedelic drugs, baby. I'm that cocaine.
I'm your push.
Yeah.
Let me
I'm
be
that
your
crack you be smoking.
Let me be your LSD, baby. I want to trip you out. Come on, baby, light my fire.
For real, drugs are not for everybody. So.
All right, real quick. I just looked down at this piece of paper and I remembered something real quick. So we're going to take a break from peeling back our onion, and I'm going to give you all I think I'm going to start incorporating this into the show. Hopefully Princess is watching because I actually think this is kind of cool. And I'm going to call it the heads up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some random things that's going on in our world, and I will be giving you the highs, the lows,
hit us
the
with
ups,
the
random, the best, the averages, and things of that nature. So,
yes,
just a heads up, the gas prices in America, as we all know,
oh, I want to cry every time that gas light come on.
I think everybody who's a Neil Armstrong, or not Neil Armstrong, what was his name? Lance Armstrong enthusiast and has a pedal bike are laughing at us right now.
Oh my God. Or people with Teslas.
Facts. It's actually not that bad. The national average right now is $3.88. Compared to a year ago today, it was $3.30, 31 cents,
okay.
32 cents.
And now,
so everybody's tripping about it being so crazy. It's $3.80. Everybody's tripping about it.
Wow.
Oh, it's so astronomical.
Oh, but it was way
really
more before.
Yeah, there's been fluctuations in between that have been higher, but as of today, that is the average. The highest gas prices in the country are in California right now, which are 6.06. Why am I saying this like decimal point? $6.06. I don't know what city that's in. I forget what the website was. This is according to AAA.com. And last week it was $6.33.
Oh,
the lowest reportedly is in Georgia with $3.25. Last week it was only 2 cents cheaper. So I don't know if inflation is just lower there or what the case may be, but
New Hampshire.
If you are a driver in Georgia, you are lucky.
They probably don't drive nowhere.
Facts. They still ride horses though.
Yeah,
right. I've been to Georgia. They're riding dirty up in that piece.
Oh yeah.
The weather in our country. With it being fall and the weather's about to change and go to the winter side of things, I am in the Midwest where it is going to be very cold eventually. This is interesting to me. The highest temperature. Now, let me put a disclaimer out here. I was looking for. It's really hard to find this if you just type it into Google and say what's the highest and the lowest temperatures today in America. It's really difficult.
Confused.
Yeah, it gets like,
so many
what were you asking? And then it gives you all these like crazy NASA like websites.
Google acts like when you're interrogating a terrorist.
Yeah, for real.
Starts freaking out, blurting out stuff.
I was tripping because I was trying to get these numbers too, like right before the show, and I was going to all these crazy like the data it was showing me. I'm like, is this even legal? Like, what is happening? Is the computer gonna crash?
Yeah, computer was tripping.
So according to whatever website that was that I stumbled upon with all the data and stuff, it says that
it's a website from India.
Probably. If there's anybody watching from Texas, you can tell me if this is true. It says Zapata, Texas. It was 99 degrees, and it says that
99 degrees.
99. I don't want to be there. Crookstown, Minnesota. No, Montana. What's MN?
Montana. MA?
MN? Is that Minnesota or Montana?
Minnesota.
Okay, facts. 12 degrees in Crookstown. And Peter sinks Utah.
Who that?
Peter. He's
Peter?
Sinking in Utah.
Peter.
I don't know how.
How's he sinking?
It's 12 degrees, so everything should be frozen.
What is he sinking in?
I have no clue.
Wait, it's 12 degrees over there?
12 of them. Count them. 1, 2.
12 degrees.
12 whole degrees. Okay, so since we talked about gas prices and we talked about where it's hot and cold out, and y'all are thinking about moving, here you go. Cost of living. Lowest cost of living, 3 top states. Mississippi. Spell it out because I know you're going to.
Wayne a lot there.
Mississippi. Oklahoma and Kansas. I don't think we're allowed in any of those states.
Yes, that's all I'm saying. I'm good. What else you got? Any non-racist states?
No.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
there's a lot of black folk in those cities or in those states, but
just because
I
they
feel like the
yeah.
racist population down there
Mhm.
is probably more condensed. Like they're
Yes.
all
In
you'll
their
see
own
a
little
whole
areas.
there'll be an entire city of racists
Like
versus
here, you
like
drive
spread
certain
out.
areas and then you start seeing certain signs and you're like,
Right.
oh yeah, I'm probably not
You
welcome here.
know,
They
per
listen to country
capita, there's
music.
more
Yeah.
racists
Yep.
in that area.
Mhm.
Did you know that Rogue River, Oregon, is reportedly one of the places that the KKK
Oregon?
started? Rogue
Oregon?
River, Oregon.
Oregon. Wow.
Yes.
I would have definitely thought Mississippi, Tennessee,
Down in the south.
Georgia,
Down south.
down south.
I feel bad for them down Southians because there's some of them that are good people and they probably get all the talk about us getting stigma.
Someone was
Can
wearing
you
a shirt the
imagine?
other day that said the South will rise.
Well, that's definitely racist. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that one. Woo! Oh, so at the risk of embarrassing my daughter, she dated a guy who my sons know him too, right? So
was
he
a KKK.
well, I mean, I wake up or not wake up. I go to my living room and I see, the General Lee from Hoop Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
He has cowboy boots like that look like the General Lee.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, who the hell's boots are these? Like, what the hell is happening? But obviously, I didn't say nothing. You know what I mean? I didn't want to choke a little kid out. He, whatever. So it turns out the roof of his house is a Confederate flag.
I'm sorry, say that again?
The roof of his house
is a Confederate
flag. And
how
he
they gonna
goes,
sell this house?
to a predominantly black high school.
Oh, okay.
At least I think that school's predominantly black. I don't know. But either way, that's neither
totally normal.
Neither here nor there.
And how did your daughter end up with him?
She don't think about things.
Are they still together?
Negative.
Okay, good.
No.
Because I would have had to have a talk with her. Like, I know you don't know me.
I don't think she realized it or like paid attention to it. She's
younger
very
kids.
Young.
Yeah.
Well, luckily
he got a whole Nazi tattoo on his arm. She's like, Dad, it's a symbol.
I don't know what it means. It's pretty though. I like it.
I love his tattoos.
Lucky for us, we raised our kids not to really focus on race or any of that. I mean, they come from the mountains in California. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's just different. I mean, I maybe I should have told them about a lot of the deeper things before they went to an all black high school, but
you kind of sometimes want them to get their own. You kind of want them to get their own experience.
But there's certain things there's certain nuances that they should know to pick up on that they kind of have to be taught.
Yep.
So,
like I teach my black friends when Arab people say certain words, it means the N word.
Yeah.
I'd be like, if you hear that at the liquor store, they talking about you, bro. Yeah, they talking about you, bro.
I wish I had someone of the Asian persuasion to teach me what they talking about in these nail shops.
Oh, I could tell you.
Do you know?
I don't know, but I could just tell.
Oh, I need somebody.
Look at his feet. Oh,
no, they don't say that. They don't say that. My toes ain't even that bad.
Oh, look, it looks like a whole person who's growing out of the.
They're not that bad.
And then she walked by. She said, she said your feet are pretty, honey.
What she's saying is
7 toes on
what
one.
She's really saying is, black men wear shorts. I see.
Oh, stop. I took one of my clients to a closing and he's pretty tall. Like he's 6'7". And the lady that was doing the closing was hitting on him. And the whole time she's like, she's an older white lady. And she's like, you are a mighty tall man.
Looking down,
you are just big, aren't you? Huh? And I'm looking at her like, hello.
Should have had him wear gray sweatpants.
I mean, he was wearing something that she was all like, I'm like, can we get the
trying to catch a glimpse?
Yeah. Oh, you are so. Here's my personal card. I'm like, you don't need your card, ma'am.
You don't know that.
Some of these ladies, they be.
He may have wanted the card.
He probably did. You never know. You never know.
You just being a hater.
Go ahead, take the grandma home, man.
Hey, it's his
grandma's need love too.
He gonna do what he want to do. It's his prerogative.
It's his. But plus, Asian not but a number, right?
Facts.
Unless you're under 18.
So we say all that to say, if there's anyone on here that speaks any of those dialects of the individuals that
help
are
us.
I need to know. Like, I want to. My dream in life, my pedicure dream in life is to be in that shop and have them talking shit, and then be able to be like have a comeback for them. I want to see a face.
Happened to me at the movies before. The people in front of me didn't know I was Arab because I was with a bunch of black people. Oh, they were talking mad
about y'all.
Oh yeah, about the black people, how they were like, how my black friends, how they were loud and all that.
Well, let me ask you this: were they loud?
Yeah, of course. They were black.
Yeah, well, yes.
Yes. And then,
they're
and then the lady
mad.
in front of me was like,
Oh my.
and then I chimed in and said something to her. And then she was like, they left. They got up and left.
Yeah,
it was
well, because
like,
how
oh,
embarrassing would that
yeah.
be? So that's why I want to catch one of them slipping one day.
It feels so. It feels
yeah.
great. It's better than an orgasm. I'll tell you that. When you catch people talking about you in another language and you respond back,
yeah,
baby,
that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of man I want to be.
Okay.
Like if there's any reason why at this point in my life I learned a different language, it is solely
So
for
you can
that
talk
reason.
shit.
It is solely for that reason.
That's it.
Just to catch somebody slipping.
Yep. I'll be listening to my, I'll be listening to my Mexican like friends and family talking and stuff, and I just be trying to listen to what they say. I can pick up now. Yeah. Just be like, you know what I said, but like,
Yeah,
I know what you said.
You said something trash, something. I heard basura. I heard you say basura, and you wasn't talking about the garbage can.
Talking about your little Arab friend. I know what you're talking about.
My goodness.
Okay. Little shawarma.
Little shawarma. Tell me that wasn't the dopest gift I sent you the other day.
That was
Luke Skywalker with the
carving out the shawarma.
What was
that
it?
was a classic.
Luke
Michael
Skywalker.
Meyer, wasn't it?
No, it was Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Cost of living, the highest three cost of livings.
It's wherever I live.
Which this surprised me a bit.
Why? Tell
Number
me.
1 is Hawaii. Number 2 was DC.
Oh, DC.
DC.
Not California?
Negative. Not even top 3.
See, I'm moving.
The third is Massachusetts. You never heard of is it Bristol, Massachusetts?
No, what's there?
There's a city in Massachusetts, I believe it is Massachusetts. Either Massachusetts or like Connecticut, where it's like the richest. So like you think like it's like the Beverly Hills of
Massachusetts,
of the East Coast.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta go there. Check it out. Find me a sugar daddy.
We definitely
sugar mama.
We definitely
ain't welcome over there.
I would highly doubt it.
Oh, I'm over this.
I would highly doubt it.
I'm over this.
Where is the Hamptons? Does anybody know?
The Hamptons.
We never looked up where the Hamptons are. Can anybody tell me where the Hamptons are?
I'm gonna look it up for you right now. I'm off my live. I'm gonna look it up for you right now. Where
are the Hamptons?
Where are the Hamptons?
Okay, now while we look that up, all these things said, right? Gas prices, you got that. The weather, you got that. Cost of living, you got that. Okay, so what everybody wants to know is there a correlation between the cost of living
and your race? Oh, sorry. Why do I always do that? Why am I so dark?
But you're a racist in the fact of like, not even like they call people racist. Like you don't hate all these other races. Like that's your profession.
Yeah,
that's your profession. You're a racist.
Why am my car turned on? It's because it's racist.
Racist. Everything is racist.
It is.
According to
it is.
This is the website I think I laugh the most about. If you want to know anything about the USA, where do you think you would go? USA.com. Did not know that was a thing, but I will be a frequent USA.com visitor.
Frequent flyer.
According to USA.com, the lowest crime rates by state: Vermont, New Hampshire, North Dakota.
And we were trying to figure out like what's in those states, and we figured out nothing.
Isn't Vermont known for
cheese?
I thought so.
Yeah, I think so.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Where is Vermont? Vermont's at the top?
I want to say it's somewhere by DC. No.
Just because it's on the East Coast.
So the Hamptons are in Long Island. And then what was the other thing we were just talking about?
New Hampshire.
I forgot that fast.
That's how you know I ain't got no money. I'm like, yeah. It's in New Hampshire
I know where the Hamptons are.
What was it? The richest, the Beverly Hills of the East Coast.
Yeah.
Was it in Massachusetts or Connecticut? I want to say it was Bristol, and I think it was Massachusetts.
Bristol is in.
If I remember correctly.
Bristol is.
I don't know. You tell me.
Which state? Let's see. It says that's in Connecticut.
Aha! See, I knew it was one of those.
You were smart.
I knew it was one of the
I guess you
Now,
were
is
smart.
it you should look up what the most wealthy city in America is.
Wealthiest. It's not Beverly Hills. You sure?
I don't think it is.
Wealthiest city in America.
Well, she's looking that up. WalletHub.com.
Wallet
and
Hub.
these are real sites.
That sounds very.
I figured they made it Wallet Hub because if you need to know where to protect your wallet or where your wallet's the most safe at, you go to WalletHub.com. According to WalletHub.com, Columbia, Maryland is the safest city in America.
Maryland.
And St. Louis is the most dangerous city in America.
Stop.
Yes, indeedy.
So on this website it says, I don't know if that's even reliable. It's the website name is homesnacks.com. What is that?
That sounds like a porn site, if you ask me.
Let me save that for later.
Like that was a porn site made during COVID.
It says number one is South Lake, Texas, with the average house income of $240,000. Sheesh. And then the second one is Los Altos in California. And median income is $235,000.
Wow.
So you're talking about average.
South Lake, Texas?
Yes. Isn't that weird?
I know they can get a mansion and a half.
Yeah, in Texas. So they're talking about, you're talking about average people making $240,000 in the city. So that's insane.
Yeah, that's a trip. I would have never thought it was a city.
I would have never thought that either, but this site seemed a little bit more reliable than Home Snacks. Because Home Snacks trying to tell me it was a city in North Carolina. So
could be,
you know.
Ooh, well,
I don't know. You just don't know what's the truth anymore. But if it's on the internet, it's true.
I believe that 100%.
Yeah, but
well, that was Kujo Speaks with Heads Up, and now you know what's up.
But it says
was that cheesy?
No, that was super cheesy, and it was like dad segment.
I want it
to
be, yeah, I want it to be. This has been Kujo Speaks with Heads Up, and now you know what's up.
Okay, I like that. That's catchy. Let's keep doing it.
That's Stan.
It says that Tokyo, Japan, is the second wealthiest city in the world. If we're talking about worldwide,
I believe that.
Yeah, you're talking about
what's the first
Tokyo.
one? What's the first?
New
York is the richest city in the world.
Wealthiest city in the world. It says.
Well, what's the data point?
They're going based off of how many wealthy individuals live in that city. So they're saying that New York has the most wealthiest people. Second to it is Tokyo.
Everything we've thought about California is a lie.
Literally. And that's why I said I want to live there, because I feel like people know nothing about Cali, but I always have the nerve to say too expensive to live there.
I can attest to that because I lived in Cali for just as long as I lived in my home state altogether. I actually think I might have lived there longer. I don't know. It's a toss-up. But I've lived in Southern California in a couple different cities. I've lived in kind of the middle of the North California, and I've lived in Northern California. I've lived all across the board. Through. That state is the most interesting state you will ever live in. It's got a little bit of everything, and most of it sucks. As far as the people go, like the only reason you go to California or live in California is for the climate. That's for the weather. That's literally. So
most of our family lives in Canada, and they live in Ottawa, which is like a really cold part of like Canada. Yeah. We're like 8 hours away from them. So all throughout the year, we pretty much don't see our family because it's cold there and it's cold here. Facts. So I was telling my dad, like, if we move somewhere warm, that will give them an opportunity to come visit us. So 7 or 8 months out the year that we see no one. We don't have family here, so we see no one. You know what I mean?
I think that was probably your dad's whole point.
Probably. I always ask him, like, why would you pick
I don't
Michigan?
know, baby. I don't know. It's just where we landed.
I wait till the snow is gone and then I come over. I want my dad to do.
You're telling him to come to your room. I'll wait till the snow is gone,
like,
and then I'll come to your room.
Done, I cannot. But you know where I grew up at? That's what happened. Like in Jordan, where I grew up at, if it snowed an inch or two, they shut the whole country down.
I guess I don't know the climate of.
Jordan has a lot of mountains. So in
how
mountain
far
areas,
is Jordan from Afghanistan and Iraq, respectively?
In Iraq, it's very close.
Okay.
I believe they share a border.
Okay. I know I was next to one of them.
To the middle of Asia, where you're talking about, that's way far. It's a different kind of Asians. We're in the Mid-East, so like we'll be closer to Egypt, Saudi, Iraq, Syria. Jordan is dead in.
Let me put this out here like this: geographically, as far as like knowing where these places are geographically, I'm terrible. I've been to them. I've been there, but as far as like spinning a globe and telling you what continent and so on and all,
I only know a core part of the Middle East and Africa, because in the Middle East where I grew up, they beat your ass until you learn all that stuff, so you just never forget it.
So it's like in America when they make you learn the capitals.
I don't remember none of that stuff here because they don't beat your ass here.
Why in middle school and elementary school or whenever they teach it to you, do I need to know the capitals of every state?
No one cares.
Who cares?
But imagine if somebody was hitting you, like they're like, give me the capital of New York, and then you like Brooklyn, and they hit you on your side. You know what I'm saying? About a
What
second
is
or
the
third.
capital? Buffalo?
New York City.
No, it's not. That's not the capital.
Of New York?
I think it's Buffalo.
I'm about to look it up because now you got me confused.
I went to Saratoga Springs, and that's when I
New
learned.
York
I learned
City
that it's not the capital.
Capital.
Wait, don't tell me.
Okay,
Don't
go
tell me,
ahead.
don't
I'm
tell
giving
me,
you 2
don't tell me.
seconds. I'm giving you
Wait,
2
no,
seconds.
wait, longer than that.
Hurry.
It's not Buffalo.
Hurry.
It's
Hurry.
it's somewhere up north. I know that. What is it?
I don't know yet.
Come on.
I was just trying to
It's
rush
up
you.
north somewhere. I know that.
Albany?
Albany. That's
Albany is the
so
capital
I've
city.
been
of
to
the
Albany,
USA.
and my wife and I were just talking about Albany. I got some pictures of Albany.
And you know,
It's a very cool city.
upper state New York is really, really pretty.
It is very gorgeous.
I've
In the
been
fall,
to New York,
very
but I
gorgeous.
stayed on Brooklyn side.
He was in the hood.
So yes.
Mm.
So I'm a person that likes
Of
to
course.
travel for culture. I don't like to travel.
You
to
go straight to
tourist.
the hood.
So I go straight to the hood. I swear to God, I'm not lying to you.
She's
You
just trying to
always
figure out what
find
city
me.
got the best weed. Don't
Yes,
lie to me.
and that too. And DC had the best weed so far, believe it or not,
That's that presidential
over
weed.
California.
That's that
Yep,
presidential
Yep,
bud.
DC had the best bud, hands
Man.
down.
And you wonder why. Hold on. What was it? It's the highest crime rate. There we go. And it's the
'Cause-
highest cost of living.
Yeah, DC was expensive.
Okay.
A
That's
lot of things
because
were expensive.
that's
in DC.
because they got the best weed.
And I had really good aged meat there. Have you ever had aged steak?
Huh?
I see. Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot. You know, I can't talk to you about food. Never mind.
No.
Go to the next topic. Go to the next
You
topic. I
can't.
can't.
Not at all. We've did.
He's one of
Yeah.
them people that make faces about
There
food,
is
and that's my
no-
biggest pet peeve. I yell at all my friends for it. Like,
No.
don't make a face at food.
I always hear about this aged beef and da, 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 da. As a recovering alcoholic, the only thing I liked aged
That is your
was
bourbon.
my bourbon and my and my
You're
wine.
terrible.
I don't understand what's
But aged steak will change your
no.
life.
Listen to me, okay? I don't understand that old
You put
food.
the hat on backwards. It got
Old-
hot in here.
Old food is known to be bad for you.
Well,
so,
do you know that cheese is old food?
blue cheese
All of it.
negative.
Yeah, it takes a
No.
while to ferment to become
No,
cheese.
my cheese
Yes,
be
it does.
brand
Not your
new.
cheese, huh?
My
No,
cheese,
that's
be
not my cheese.
brand
I swear to God, not
straight
my
out the
cheese,
cow titty.
Yeah, it comes out in
Cheese.
slices. They're like
Look.
craft slices.
Cheese.
We're not gonna talk about food because he is really bad with
The American dream is dead.
You just killed
because
my
of the
dreams.
cheese.
Yeah, killed my cheese.
Well, gotta tell you, aged things are good. When things get old, they get better. Except for men.
What?
Except for men.
Oh, here we
Except
go.
for men. The older y'all get,
Here we go.
I love when I have conversations with people and be like, you women, you know, or you men. Oh, I love those conversations because I'm like, you are so
I can't
ignorant.
stand people that generalize anything. to
Anything, a
begin with.
race, a
Yeah,
sex, a
Don't you ever be in a conversation with me talking about all. Once you say all,
y'all women.
look. Once you say all, at that point, all I'm hearing is.
You ever feel like, who hurt you? Who hurt you? Dudes that be like, all you women do is lie. I'm like,
I
oh,
don't
who
care
hurt you, little baby?
right.
Who hurt you?
I tell people all the time, I'm like, dude, okay, and it be people usually when they talk about women in general like that, it's the single dude.
Yeah, and guys with mommy issues.
who's 44
Yeah.
and still trying to find a,
Two
I
baby
want to find me a
mamas.
queen, but then
Yeah.
they're talking about, look, all of these women out here in the world.
Oh,
just-
y'all women's
that's
do.
why you don't have.
Yeah. Anytime
Hey.
you generalize anything.
My wife said I'm a food racist.
I agree with you, Courtney. Oh my God. I cannot talk to I could talk to Kujo about anything, but the one thing I do not talk to him about is food because my palate is very diverse
She
and
be eating some
very
weird.
escalated, and his is hot dogs, and I don't even know if he eats ketchup. I don't even think he eats condiments.
Ketchup is my favorite thing on the planet.
Do you even use spices when you cook?
I spice that hell out of my
right.
food.
Okay.
I'm
sure
gonna
you
have to
do.
cook something for you. So
I don't know
just,
if
like,
I
don't
even
get
trust
me
you to
wrong.
cook anything for me.
I'm not gonna put curry
What if I
seasoning
make
in
a
it.
face? Soon as you make me food, I'm gonna make a
That's
face.
fine. I don't care. It's a McDonald's right down the street from my crib. I don't get hurt. I don't get hurt about
I'm
none
going
of
to
that.
get chicken nuggets from down the street.
That's
This
all
is sucks.
good. Get my son some too, because he probably think my food sucks as well. He
Your
probably
kids are
don't
like,
it
we are
either.
so tired of your food.
No.
Do they eat your
When
food?
I first came
Aw,
around,
love you
so
too.
my wife was a habitual under seasoner before I came around. And yes, she is Caucasian. If you guys haven't been able to glean that out of these conversations,
White.
I've been using glean
Just
a lot
say
today.
white.
I like it. She's white.
Hi, Mom.
She's a
Love
white. She's a white person. So she used to not use a
She's
lot
a
of
white
seasonings.
person.
You
Sounds
know,
like so much
she
animosity.
was, but now she's become a little more black-eyed.
Right. So she got
She
Lowry's.
seasons her. She got law.
So
Exactly.
my stepmom.
I didn't even have to tell
My
you.
stepmom now,
You know.
she uses spices too because of my dad, But the problem with my stepmom is she either uses all the spices in the cabinets or none of the spices in the cabinet. Like she don't be like, okay, salt and pepper and oregano going.
Okay, I will say this too because as much as I can say I can cook, I know that I need to stop using Lowry's and actually use the individual seasonings that are, like so when I do like say spaghetti, right? I'll season up my sauce with all the Italian herbs,
like oregano, the garlic,
but I'm still gonna
basil.
put Lowry's in the meat, which I should technically
I feel
not
like Lowry's.
do.
No, it's a good base.
But it's a season all. But all Lowry's is a bunch of different seasonings in one, so you don't have to do all the seasonings by yourself. But obviously, if you use them all individually and you put them in there yourself,
it gives you different flavors, different combinations.
The flavor. What's the word I'm looking for? Not the flavored palette, not the flavored characteristics. I don't know. Anyway,
the flavor of the flavor.
The flavor flav. The flavor flav of the whole thing. It will pop. So if there's a certain aspect of it that you want turned up just a little bit, you can tweak your spice. But I've always wanted to, and I always say I'm gonna go spend like $500 on spices.
No, you're not.
Once we get
just go to the Arab store. They got it for the low. Everything you want.
No, I ain't gonna walk in there because then they're gonna be like, "What are you doing?"
Hurry up what are you doing here? You're kind, not welcome, sir.
See, I feel
they don't do that.
I feel
what Chaldeans do. I will say the Chaldeans are more.
I feel more pointed out by Middle Eastern than I do by white people.
They're not even gonna care. They'll just think you're from Sudan or something. You could pass. Just say assalamu alaikum.
I just walk around like this.
Yeah, just it. Juice's mom comments and say I can cook. Yes, you can.
Who said? Oh, I thought she was saying that you could
Juice's
cook.
mom. Well, I can cook. Don't ever talk to me like that.
Juice's mama, can I get some food?
No.
Mom,
he's not allowed.
What does she cook?
She's not allowed. She makes like actual Mexican food.
See now. Okay, let's talk about that.
Like real Mexican food.
Let's talk about that.
But see, we already got into it about the guacamole.
Thank you. Guacamole. It ain't no. Does she call it guacamole?
No, she gets. Yes, she does.
If she calls it guacamole, then I'm not eating with y'all because I already know y'all tripping.
I pull up to the tab like, Juice, I'm gonna order a quesadilla. She be like, you better not order a quesadilla. I'm gonna order quesadilla and
just because of how you say it, or the fact that you're gonna eat a quesadilla.
I'm gonna order a chicken fajita with that. And she gets so mad. Oh, I love making her mad.
Guacamole.
Guacamole.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's guacamole.
No, it's not.
That's what the Mexican people say.
They don't.
We have to respect what they
That's
tell
the
us.
one thing that they told you to make you look stupid when you go around these people.
Have you at the Mexican restaurant like,
yes, could I please
Yo quiero guacamole.
They'd be like, who is this?
And she'd be like, I'm sorry, ma'am, we speak English here.
Get her out.
Yeah, they have like a whole conversation with me sometimes, thinking I could speak it back, but I just be known, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Because it's. I feel like certain people from the Middle East look like they could be from a variable of places. Like you could assume that you were possibly Indian.
Depends on my hair, I think.
Yeah, how you carry yourself, what you wear. Yeah. You could assume you're from a lot of different. Like
I
my
always
wife.
Play that game with people. I'm like, guess where I'm from?
I would never.
And people throw it all over. Like some guy was like India, Greek.
You know what I would have said? Bristol, Massachusetts.
Bristol, Massachusetts. Ding, ding, ding.
Bristol, Connecticut.
Advance to the next
That's
level.
what you just
How well do you know Shay? Hawaii.
Just pick somewhere rich.
I've never had somebody say Hawaii.
But you could pass.
But I could pass for somebody from Hawaii.
Put a lei on or put a little headdress on, or if you dressed in the traditional fashion of that country, you could pass.
You're right. I could pass for a lot of things.
I swore my wife is white. We did the 23andMe thing. I thought I was trying to give her all kinds of Spanish and she's got the darker features.
Spanish people are very white. They're European,
but she doesn't have any
of the features she
doesn't have any of that descent in her.
Oh, okay.
She's straight up white.
Yeah, see,
the one said she was a Viking.
I think just stop.
Yeah.
Those things I think lie.
I don't think they do.
I think they just do it to collect your DNA.
Yes, because so here's
No.
This is going.
Hey, we got
just going. Yeah, we just going.
Okay.
Yeah, we got 51 minutes left. We'll go off the rails for a minute.
We can start. We usually start problems around this time.
Right.
This is where we
this
get
is about
up.
the point where like things are about to go downhill real quick. Where people will start calling
Juice
in.
is white.
Turns out Juice is actually
white.
So my wife did 23andMe, and her siblings, I guess, have done it too or whatever, and hers keeps changing.
What do you see? That's what I mean. I think the 23andMe are
no
liars.
Sense.
Yeah,
and like, oh yeah, well when your siblings do it, then you get more data points.
It's the same.
That makes no sense.
DNA.
Like if we came from the same two people, how would I have a different percentage of X, Y, and Z?
You can't.
Things?
It's a lie.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me.
Or that might not be your sister.
That's my sister said. My sister said the same thing.
See, I ask my dad all the time.
She's like, who was you? And I was like, ooh.
One of us don't belong.
I was like, I told you, I knew it. I don't know.
My dad always said they found me in Africa. So I know.
That's why you get down with the black folks.
Adopted one.
That makes sense.
It's fine though, because I don't want to be like them anyway. I'll be like, I want to be a part of this family. I want to be adopted. Shoot. Why did y'all even take me from there?
I wouldn't be mad.
This family sucks. That's what I be saying. Look, this family sucks.
What does that mean though? If you found out you were adopted, are you allowed to just like disown them? Or
yeah, I'm allowed to do whatever I want.
Like, what are can you sue for like
for lying to me all them years? Probably. You can sue for anything. This is America.
But would you win though?
Depends on your
lawyer.
Not
about if
Depends
you
on
can.
your lawyer.
It's not about if you can sue. Is will it be lucrative?
In America, it's about your lawyer. It really is.
I ain't got.
You can literally be the person that did it. I mean,
I ain't got Johnny Cochran money though.
O.J. Simpson got away with
Johnny
it.
Cochran.
Him too.
I ain't got no Johnny Cochran money.
You just gotta have the money. So when I go to federal prison, you know, I'm gonna have to have the right Jewish lawyer.
Huh. So maybe that should be the real want in life. You know, I just want to make enough money to be able to get away with murder.
Yeah, that's what it is. You have enough money in America, you get away with everything. I'm not even playing. Pay your way through everything. The courts just want their money.
Pay to play, baby.
Yeah, that's it. You pay, you get the right lawyer that knows that judge, and you out of here. You know,
that's a sad fact.
That is.
It's a very sad.
I listen to so many murder podcasts because I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Right.
The Innocence Project is a really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a podcast or what, but
no, I think they have a show though.
I think they. Yeah, I watch a lot of the shows about people getting exonerated, and they end up being behind a wall.
And it's all because the police does not do their work. Even a lot of the unsolved crimes or like unsolved murders and things like that. When you go back, a lot of it is police error. Yeah. And a lot of them don't know anything unless somebody snitches.
What sucks too about it is the justice system is set up to where it's such an institution. It's made to seem like once the wheels are rolling, they can't be stopped.
No.
And that makes no sense because it's made up of all human beings, right?
Yeah.
So if you see an error, if someone sees an error, why does it have to go through this rigorous process of unnecessity? When at any point in time, it makes no sense though. Like if literally like, oh, well, we know you didn't do it. It's right here on paper that you didn't do it, but it has to go through this process for you to be released.
Yep.
Like, nah, dog.
Because of democracy.
No, I didn't do it. Let me out.
Yeah, just let me out. I mean? Yeah.
Oh, well, we found out you didn't do it on Friday, but the judge doesn't come in until Monday. And then you have to have the hearing, and then the judge has to see, and then you have to be with.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the judge didn't come in on Monday. Okay, so the next time we can get you in to get you released is next month. Like, why am I in here? The
justice system works for certain people. It doesn't.
Did you watch the Dahmer documentary?
Of course
I know we talked about it.
Did
you? Were you here when I was telling you the part that the judge what he said
about the
when he got. He was in court for the molestation
of the
and what that judge said
underage.
To him.
Yeah. I'm going to give you another chance.
Like,
Then he told him. He said, because this could be bad for you. We're pretty much going to omit that from your records. We're going to give you a second chance and those sort of things, you know. And I think a huge part of that watching that was because the boy that he molested was not American. You know what I mean? If he would have been American, they would have.
When the judge told the father, I think you could have one of your. We can't hear you. I heard him perfectly fine.
That made me lose my mind when he told him you need a translator. I was just like, this guy speaks pretty clear English where we can all understand him, but
it's unnecessary.
It's a lot of people here that the minute you have an accent, they they stop listening to you, or they think you're not as intelligent as they are.
I've had subtitles on here on your box the whole time. I didn't know.
Translating English.
Because I didn't think people would be able to understand you because you have an accent.
I should come in here and really talk like this. You know, like I think people always really think that's so. Like I
always think that's really jacked up too. Like when I'm watching a show right now called Welcome to Wrexham.
Yeah,
so have you seen the?
No.
It's Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny. They buy a football team, soccer team in North Wales.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people, they speak really fast and they have an accent. I can understand everything they're saying, but they have accents on it, and they're speaking English or Welsh,
and they're putting subtitles.
So I'm like, I wonder how offended they are when they see the show.
Yeah, because it's a joke.
Like, what do you mean you can't understand me?
Yeah, I'm speaking English, man, and that's what it is. I think a lot of people, when you have an accent, kind of lose respect for you or
because they
listening.
See. Okay, that's another good point. Because I've always, and I guess it's because I've traveled around and known different cultures of people. There's such a way that Americans feel like this feeling of superiority, right? Like you're dumb if you can't speak proper English, when in fact they know 2 or 3 different languages and they also know your language, but they just don't speak it as crisply
well
as you do.
Yep.
But the American mind state, the idiotic American is like, oh, look at you dummy, you don't know English.
You know, and that for me, that was a struggle when I first came here. My goal was to master the language and the dialect with the way that people talked here. Right. You know what I mean? And now that I look back at it, I'm like, accents are like so hot right now. I should have kept my accent when I first got here. You know what I mean? Like
so hot right now.
I lost my touch. Like I could be on the radio way more popular if I had an accent, right?
You'd be killing it.
So I think I'm just gonna fake an accent.
We got to take you back to accents.
Welcome to my show, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This is very big opportunity.
Wait, is it racist for you to pretend to do your accent, your old accent?
I do my dad's accent.
Would people get mad? Like, would that still be?
Let them get mad. I don't care.
But why are Americans so sensitive?
I think a lot of people are sensitive now. It's getting annoying.
So I was listening to an audio book by Mark Munson. I don't know. The book was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F-bomb. Great book. He's got a series of books that are really cool. But he talked about his travels to Russia, and he lived in Russia for, I don't know, a month or whatever it was. And he said the biggest thing that was really hard to get used to is people's blatant honesty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. French people say the same thing, too.
Yeah. He said he was on a date with a girl, and he was talking or whatever, and she was like, that sounds really stupid. You sound really stupid. And he was like shocked. And he was like thrown
girls
off.
In America wouldn't say that.
Right. He was like, aghast, like, oh, I can't believe. And she just casually said it, and like went about there was no big thing. Here in America, you can't. No. People are so sensitive and so soft. Yeah. Yet we're the rudest, most abrasive people on the planet.
For sure.
How does that work?
Because we're entitled. Because we're entitled.
Don't say we. I don't
living here. We become.
I don't count myself as that way. I might be oblivious, but
you are.
No, I truly don't think I am. I think if anything, maybe I was, and I'm working on it because I don't feel that way. I really don't. You can tell me. I would much rather you tell me something straight up to my face the second you meet me.
Compare America to other cultures. Like my culture, for example, Americans are way more honest than my culture. In Arab culture, there's a lot of sugarcoating. There's a lot of complimenting before you go to the truth. And it's a lot of sugarcoating. So like 2 people can't just be upfront and honest with each other. So compared to my culture, Americans are more honest than my culture, for example.
The a-holes of us are more honest, probably.
Yeah.
But there's a ton of
people that just lie.
I'm so guilty of that all my life. I'm such a people pleaser that I never wanted to hurt anybody's feelings.
No.
I never wanted to.
And I'm like, forget people's feelings.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, now I'm like, man, when we get off the air, I'm gonna say it out loud. Like as soon as I turn these, I'm gonna say it out loud. These people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't use my cuss word limit.
I'm gonna be good.
Save them for me.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to me, but
you just start twitching one day and just
for real.
Just started going.
It's
crazy.
like I had a break. It's like I had a mental break, and it just every last ounce of F's
that you had just flew away.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not just gonna walk around being rude and like I'm still me to my core. But as far as the things the pleasantries I'll extend, once the second you no longer deserve those pleasantries, I'm going off. For instance, I went to Kentucky recently to see my father, and we parked our car at a lot because we had a rental, and it was at the airport. So typically you don't have.
Do you guys have a close relationship?
My dad and I, we're working on it. It's getting better. It's getting a lot better. So we parked our one car at the lot and we got a rental car and we drove the rental down. So we go to pick it back up. And obviously, there's a gate that somebody opens when you pull up. So we pull up to the gate and the thing opens up. So I'm like, oh, okay. And the lady was like up there in her little booth thing. So I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. And I go driving. She's like, hold on, wait a minute. She's like, don't just go driving through who you think you is, just doing whatever you want to do. And starts going nuts.
What?
And so I back up and I was like, excuse me? Now, old me would have been like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Like, oh, my bad. Yada, yada, yada. Right. But as she kept going, I lost it.
It was like ignite mode activated.
I lost it. Like,
ignite mode activated.
Beep, 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 beep. I hopped out the car. Look, that's my wife. I hopped out the car on her. Like, what?
About to get real ignorant.
Yeah, and then because she tells us to back up and park or whatever, so I back up like all mad, but I didn't know what she was talking about because there was nowhere to really park. So I hopped out and I was like, "Now, where did you want me to go?" Like standing at the window, very close, like in
your face,
and like, yeah. Like I don't have tolerance for it anymore, and I don't know,
especially when people are rude.
Unnecessarily
like today
rude.
We were talking about that going to Costco, like the people at the door be so aggressive.
Show me your Costco membership.
Show me,
like, sir, calm down. I told the guy today, I said, I'll show my Costco membership at the register. I said, or you could call security. And I just kept walking because I know they don't have security.
Because he was rude?
Yeah. Because like I'm trying to get my card out, but you also pushing the cart and then you're trying to get out of people's way, and he's just standing there like, let me see your Costco card. And I'm like, dude, I come to Costco every day. Like,
Steven,
and then when
Steven, I talk to you every day.
Yeah. And he like, give me your card. And I was like, I'm gonna show him my card at the register. I was like, if you have a problem with that, call security. And I just walked away. And the lady next to me, she's like, I want to tell him that so bad every time I come in because he's so rude and aggressive. And it's like, dude, it's a Costco card.
Yeah.
I'm not walking into the Super Bowl.
He's an American.
Yeah, calm down.
They take it so seriously.
He is retired and just like bored. He over here like.
There was a Walmart we used to go to in California. My wife used to get so pissed because every time we left, they would check my receipt. But there would literally be people in front of me and behind me, beside me, and they would have a nice day, have a nice day. But as soon as I walked out that door, excuse me, sir, I need to see your shoes again.
You ever seen that one Family Guy episode where they were down south somewhere and the cop pulls them over and he pulls out this like sheet of paper that has different shades of colors on it and it says okay up until a certain limit and then once it gets brown and more you're not okay.
No.
He ended up taking Cleveland to jail and stuff.
Family
they beat him up,
man. Terrible. Family Guy is a terrible show.
They be on point with certain things though. Like it be a joke. But it really do
not that it's reality not hilarious. Like I'm surprised this day and age they still get away with what they get away with.
South Park too. South Park.
Man, I stopped watching South Park a long
South Park
time
pushes
ago.
it to the limit with everything, and they just don't care. But it's been on the air for so long, you know what I mean? But a lot of things that they made a joke on South Park became reality in real life. So you're like, oh.
Bottom line is, people. I truly believe it is time for all of us to stop being so butthurt about everything. I miss the days. I feel like, and what we planned on talking about today was
we never go with the plan.
Never. It was a bit about depression and PTSD, which we'll get to at least for a little bit. But I feel like I'm not saying there wasn't depression back then by any means, but I feel like we're more able to laugh about it and talk about and be easier. It's easier to talk about things because it wasn't so heavy when you could laugh about certain things or, shine light on things that necessarily weren't light situations.
That's true. That's very true.
But now you can't joke about certain things. You can't talk about.
You can't say certain words.
You can't say certain trigger words.
Now you can't even express yourself and your opinion because you're a hater.
Trigger somebody else.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Everything's triggering for somebody.
Or if you're not agreeing with the mainstream, you're a hater. It's like you can't just have your own opinion based on the experiences you've had in life because everybody else is not agreeing with this view.
I'm having a human experience.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things I've ever heard at a Dave Chappelle show.
Dave Chappelle.
Every human being is 100% different than the other. And I don't understand how, and which we briefly talked about when it comes to religion and my beef with the whole religious institution.
Beefing out with the religious institution.
Everybody's so different. How are you expected to believe exactly in the same
story
thing
as everybody else?
Right. Like we are human beings. We're supposed to be different. We're supposed to believe in different things. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to have a tweak and a twist to everything in life. We're
supposed to have a dialogue.
We're supposed to, but these days the art of dialoguing,
it's not art.
It's not a thing anymore.
It like gets everybody to be offended or mad about it, or how can I be mad about what happened, you know, or how do I feel about it? And it's like sometimes you don't need to feel about it in a certain way, just what that person opinion is, and that's it. And you just look past it.
I think we should definitely do. Look at me giving you ideas for your show.
For my show, I'm writing them all down.
We should do a show about the art of conversation. And like really dig into and dive into what a conversation is supposed to be, how conversations used to be versus how they are now. Like people don't understand that a conversation is literally the most incredible weapon against anything and everything.
And to be able to be that person, like you were saying earlier, to talk to everybody and relate to everybody. Like to me, talking to people is easy, right? Like I could walk into any room and be able to talk to anybody, right?
I'm talking to
anybody. So not everybody can do that. And it took me a really long time to really realize that not everybody has that. And it really is a talent for you to be able to carry a dialogue with someone, and one, not get upset, and two, not try to change that person's mind. And I think a lot of time when people have a dialogue, both sides, they expect you to agree with each other, right?
And that's the problem.
At some point. And it's like, I'm not here to change your mind. I give you my opinion, my views, and I want to hear yours because we can learn from each other.
You may help me out.
Absolutely.
Think of it this way: if you're a person that tends to go into a conversation trying to change someone's mind or get them to believe what you believe in, think of it this way: what is them changing their mind and now consequently believing what you believe in? What is that?
I'm not gonna join my cult.
Right. What's that going to do for your life?
Nothing.
What is it going to help your life now that there's another human that feels? Unless you're trying to, like you said,
get a cult,
let them join your cult, or you're trying to use them for something or whatever. Like, what's the point?
Nothing.
What is the point of that argument? What is the point of that fight? What is the
I
point
like
of
having
that?
conversations for the sake of a conversation.
I want to learn.
I like to learn from people. And I say that all the time. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. There's always something I can learn from you, and vice versa. You know. But a lot of people are like too good for that.
It's the ego.
Yeah.
The American
I'm too good to
ego.
learn something from this person. They've only been doing this job for a year.
Well, especially if it's a stranger, before you even let words come out of your mouth, you've already gone through your judgment phase. So by what they're wearing or the color of their skin or where you've met them at or their position, you've already decided if you're better than them or not.
Yeah. And that's why people ask you when they first meet you,
what do you
do for a living?
What do you do? Why
so
does
they
it
can
matter?
decide how much respect they're going to give you.
So
Because if you're like, I'm a janitor.
How far down do I have to spit?
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
How far
But if you're
down?
like, oh, I'm a CEO or I'm this or I'm that, and people are constantly like,
it's funny how you see people's demeanors change. Too.
Yeah.
Like I love to get into conversations. Like I try a lot of times when I look at somebody, or if I know because I'm not gonna lie, I do it too. Obviously, I try to set myself up for where I think I'm gonna be in that conversation prior to the conversation. Yeah. So if I'm privy to who you are already, or I know a little bit about you and I know your status, I try to force the conversation into somewhere different before you ask who I am or before you get to know my stature, because I want to see what you do with that info.
Agreed.
Right. So now if you and I are talking and I've gotten you into this conversation and I've wrapped you up into this great dialogue now, and then you find out what I do, I'll really know what kind of person you are by how you change,
your demeanor. Yeah. Like at first they're like all in tune and listening, and then you're like, oh, I'm a janitor.
Right,
and they're like,
Yeah, you and I are right here,
Yeah.
right? Like you're looking at me and talking to me as if we're working in the same company
Yeah.
at the same level.
Yeah.
I'm lateral with you, with how I speak, with
Yeah.
with the way I speak, with the knowledge I'm giving you. We're lateral. We're next to each other. But then the second you find out
you're different somehow.
you switch up on me.
Yeah.
Now I know exactly who
And
you are.
I feel like that happens a lot with a lot of human interactions, like when when humans deal with each other. Like they value each other based off those things, and then it's like their ultimate goal is to find out where you're different.
Mhm.
What religion are you? That's a common thing with my
They
people.
try to dig it out.
Are you Christian
dig
or
it
Muslim? And it's like, what do you mean? I could be anything else, but it's like they put you in this box because that's what they think you are. Are you
Mhm.
Christian or are you Muslim?
Because it doesn't make sense to them if
To
there's
be
anything else. Right.
And then you're like, oh, I like to mess with them, and I'll either say I'm an atheist or I'll say I'm Hindu, and they get really upset.
No, you know what'll make him even more
What should I
upset?
say?
You don't answer the question. I'm nothing.
Oh yeah.
Because if you've
I'm
picked,
nothing,
if you've
yeah.
picked one, being an atheist is a group.
Oh yeah.
That's a group
But
of
they
people.
try to convert me. Then they try to buy me Bibles and things like that. So it's entertaining to me.
Just tell them you don't exist.
We're not even.
Be like,
real.
are you a Christian? Or you be like, I don't exist.
Like I'm not even real.
I'm a construct.
Oh, I'm a sovereign citizen.
So like depends on which matrix you're in.
Depends on which God is sitting up there when I make it at the end. I got a whole bunch of
Depends.
speeches prepared.
Depends
Oh,
on
which one
which
is it?
pill
I'll
you
be
take.
asking the person friend, which God
You
is
don't
up
have to
there.
see. Did you peek in there? Did you see?
Oh, he's Hindu. God.
Right. Are they giving out brochures?
Right. I got like 7 speeches prepared. Right. And
Yeah.
if not, I'm gonna be like, I'm their +1. Oh, they got it. I'm their +1.
I don't even got. There ain't even a speech. You know how like. So imagine you and Juice ain't seen each other in like a week, right?
Right.
And that first time
long
y'all
time.
see each other, you're like, I feel like me and whoever, if there's somebody really up there, that's how it's gonna be. I'm like, see.
Really? I think it's gonna be a little bit different. They'll be
I
like,
don't.
turn around downstairs. The escalator is right there if you got bad knees.
Ooh, yeah, I got a bad
Like
back.
good night. You going downstairs.
See, I feel like overall at this time, if this whole construct is real, right?
Right.
Then whoever is like the heavenly Uber driver would have been fired forever ago because they've been bringing people up there just to
By
get turned
accident.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to get fired then.
Well, I mean, maybe they get convinced. Like they get like, hey,
Maybe they're
please.
trying to see your last salvation.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
look,
please,
dog,
come
we
on.
got 5 minutes to
He
get.
like, you know what? God still owes me like 2 more favors. He might still let you
You're
in,
like,
type of thing.
look,
God, please. I know.
It's gonna take 5 celestial minutes to get up there, my dog. You got.
I'm gonna come up there with signatures. Hey, God, these 10,000 people here really thought
I got a
should get
petition.
into
I got a
heaven, right?
petition started.
Let me in.
Yo, that'd be funny.
That would be funny.
So if I make it to the point where I'm like, 80, 90 years old, and
Yeah.
I know I'm on my way
Start a
out,
petition. Do you
I
think
am.
I
think
should make it to
everybody
heaven?
at like I'm gonna have a pre-funeral.
Yep.
I'm gonna be like, so listen, I need all y'all to sign this book and put it in my casket so I can
So
show.
God, when I get up there, I'll be like, God.
I can show whoever's up there and be like, listen. So look, all my homies on Earth were like, yo.
They thought I was good.
They said I was good. So I don't know what you saw.
Right?
I don't know what you saw.
I thought you see the good in people.
Apparently not.
I thought you didn't see all the good in me.
Apparently not.
We're gonna get kicked out the air.
No, that'll be
They're
fine.
gonna kick us out.
No, that'll be good. So, in a very cringy segue, everything we're talking about right now is part of the reason why a lot of people are so incredibly depressed.
Yeah, it's true. It is very true.
I think the fact that everybody, not everybody, but majority of people, especially if you are someone who is into religion really deeply, then all you are essentially doing is fearing death.
Mm-hmm. And going to hell,
trying to assure that you go to the correct place when you die, right? Yet none of what you're doing in service of that is helping you live a life
or
that
be
you
a
claim,
better person,
right?
Yeah,
that you claim you're supposed to be living to make it to whatever imaginary place you say you're going when you die.
That's true.
So
I felt like religion was a code of ethics at some point, kind of like to keep you in line, like morals and things. But over time, it became so man-made that now it's a man's game of what they want you to do. So they preach to you what you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and that is the truth. Like,
it's sad. I mean, I feel like people with depression too, like people, religious people, think of them as like ungodly or like,
yep,
or like you just
gotta
need to
believe
talk
in
to God and all of
Yeah.
that goes away. But that's not the case. And that I think over the years and over the existence of depression and America and Earth, it became so faux pas to talk about because there shouldn't be anything but faith and this and that. Like depression, what do you mean?
You shouldn't question why
Right.
God is making you go through these bad things or whatever.
And also there's a huge fear in America or in human, I'll say in humans in general, of things we can't figure out or of something that isn't tangible, right? Besides God or the religion thing, like that's the one thing that you can't touch that everybody's supposed to just believe. But you don't believe that there's a feeling inside of me that is dark and makes you want to sleep all day and makes you can't believe that that's real just because your scans don't see it and because of this, that, and the other. And it's still, I mean, I guess, they have all this awareness and this awareness month and blah, 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 but it still is a topic that no one seems to know how to talk about.
No.
And I deal with it every day.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Was it more of life experiences or being in the military that really?
And that's the thing with depression, you can't really say. I think when you go to, they want you to go to therapy and talk it out and try to figure out the root and try to, find out why you are the way you are, why you feel the way you feel. I think that, and a lot of times perpetuates the problem because you're trying so hard to pinpoint why, as if once you figure out why, that's the fix.
That's it. You're gonna stop.
Yeah, and it's not that. Now PTSD reversely or adversely or whatever that word is that I'm trying to use right now. PTSD is different because according to like the diagnoses or whatnot, post-traumatic stress disorder happens after an event.
Yeah.
Right. So me going to war, and it's not only, and that's another stigma that I want to clear up. And I know, here we go, 6:30, getting into the meat and potatoes.
6:30.
But okay, well, we'll get your show up and running ASAP, and we'll continue
talk about this at 4
at length. Right. We'll spend the whole 3 hours on. But they say that post-traumatic stress happens, once the situation happens. So I think a lot of times people like me who've been to war or, war zones or shot at or whatever, I think we get credit for having PTSD as if going to war is the only way you get PTSD.
Yeah.
No,
there's so many ways.
It's a disorder that happens after a traumatic event.
Yep.
So someone who,
had their house burned down.
Right.
Or someone who watched their
kid. It doesn't have to be war.
Get hurt. Yep.
So there's this long line of traumatic things that happen to everybody in America, and there's like a hierarchy, I think, for what people will accept as traumatic enough.
Yeah.
To cause that kind of disorder.
Like,
right.
Oh, your pain is not bad enough,
We invalidate people's pain in traumatic situations. And what you got to realize is survivor's guilt is a huge thing, and that also perpetuates worse PTSD. And that comes a lot of times from people being like, oh, well, people have it worse than you have it. You shouldn't be blah, blah, blah. Or someone else has got it worse than you got it. So you just got to be thankful.
No.
So then you have someone who's gone through something super traumatic and they're trying to deal with it. But instead of you helping them grow or, learn to deal with it, you're telling them to shut it down because it's not as bad as...
Because people in Africa are starving.
Yeah. It's not as bad as somebody else's. So shut that down. It's not, you're not there yet.
And I think that is one of the most toxic things is like when, you have those talks with your friends, but you don't really, I'm not going to say agree, but you don't really see why they're struggling that way. And you try to be supportive by saying those generic things. Well, somebody else, it could always be worse. It could always be worse. And it's like to them, that is their worst.
Right.
And it's like, it's not a scale of bad to worst of how bad you can feel or how bad your life is. It's a different scale for every single person.
That's definitely a huge thing we have to stop doing. It's not. So just like I explained to, it's really bad within the military community as well, because it's like, so say, I went to Iraq, I got hurt after 2 weeks, and that really ended up being the injury that, screwed the rest of my life up. But so that traumatic experience alone and being in the hospital with people that were barely alive, some weren't alive, some died while I was in the room with them, some died on the plane on the way back, and there was kids in the jump seats. Like they let kids take a ride back with all of us on the planes. Like that was traumatic enough, right? But it happened so frequently in the military that in that group of people, if you were to tell people you think you have PTSD or you're depressed from seeing
They would
those
just
things,
be like, "Why? This is what we normally
you're
see every
shunned,
day,
right? This
yeah.
is normal. Like enjoy the suck, right?"
Yeah.
And then I go to Afghanistan and I spend 7.5 months and I see even more and worse, right? But still, I didn't have to go shoot a kid.
To get PTSD.
I didn't get blown up in a Humvee.
Doesn't matter.
I didn't go through the worst parts.
Yep.
I didn't lose any of my limbs.
It was your own experience.
That's one thing I've heard so many times.
You didn't lose anything.
At least you got all your limbs. You should be thankful. Like
you don't know. You literally do not know what I have to endure mentally for you to say that to me.
Yeah.
And I think, that's another thing that we always struggled with in the medical field is that when you see a person with a physical disability, you're quick to hurry up and help them, open the door for them, carry their stuff. But when it's somebody with a mental disability, we're one, quick to dismiss it.
Yeah.
And two, we are very slow to admitting that it's a reason of why this is happening.
Facts.
You
or we're called crazy more often
you're
than
called
not.
crazy. And it's like, I'm not crazy. There's something wrong with me.
It's like they have to be helped when you have a mental health issue. They have to rule out dementia and psychosis, and they have to rule out all of those things first before they're like, oh, it's just depression. That's all it is.
Depression.
Oh, you have a touch of PTSD.
Oh, you're
that's
stressed.
all that is. Oh yeah, you're just drink some matcha tea or some green tea, and you need to go on a retreat and meditate. And no, it's deeper than that.
Eat your fruit.
It's far deeper than that.
Yeah.
So I explained to anybody who listens with the depression side of it. So the PTSD side of it is what makes me want to recoil now. And I used to fight that or combat that with being overly nice, with being overly out there, overly friendly, and trying to just be, yeah, woe is me, everything's good. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. I'm all right. No big deal. The depression side of it is what makes me not want to move. It makes me not want to get up. It makes me truly feel like every second I'm breathing is worthless. Like nothing that I'm doing is propelling me forward.
Nothing excites you. Nothing gives you that pleasure.
I keep telling my wife that exact thing. I feel like I love my life right now. I do. I feel like I have the greatest life that I've had in the history of my life at this moment in time. But that doesn't mean I don't deal with this
depression.
This extremely strong
it's like a
feeling.
Darkness.
The best way I can explain it is it feels like your legs are running a mile a minute, but your body's in the same spot.
Ooh.
Like everything you
do, that's deep.
Everything I do, I work pretty hard. I work very hard to make sure I'm happy, my family's happy, we're all taken care of, secured, and that in turn does make me technically happy. But nothing's refilling my cup. You know, as much as I can be happy about where I'm at, I don't have that joy anymore. Like nothing is truly making me excited. I haven't been super excited about something, and I don't know how long. And there's a lot of exciting things that have happened.
Going on. My dad says that too, and I don't know what it is.
It's depression. That's the only thing I know it to be, because things that would typically make you super excited or joyful.
Yeah, you just lack that motivation to even feel excited about
that's
things.
the point of it. Like I want to be excited about things, and to be honest, the thing I still do, the vice I still have, is I gamble. That's the only thing to this day right now that like I can get excited about. If I like win some money, I'm like, oh, I won some money. Like that literally is like the only thing that I get like joyful about these days, which is sad because I used to get joyful about everything. I used to be one of the most joyous people. Like everything would make me happy. I'd be giggling and laughing and jumping for joy about the smallest things. And these days it's like I see the terrible parts of everything before I can see anything good in it. And even if it's good, I'm like, well, it ain't gonna last long. Like, ain't no point in me getting all excited.
Happen to get you to be this way, or is it
life?
Just
me trying so hard not to let life get me down is what eventually ended up getting me down. I legitimately ran out of steam. And it's not. There's no simple way about it. There's
and that's the truth.
Fixing it. Yeah. There's nothing I need to tweak. Like I'm doing everything I possibly can.
But
I am happy.
I think that is a huge part of us always saying we're okay.
Yeah.
Because we are raised with this stipulation that everything is okay, and if you say it's okay, it's gonna be okay. And sometimes things are not okay, and you are okay to say that.
Yeah.
Like when people ask you how you doing today, you don't
I
have to
always
say I'm good.
I'm always like terrible.
Yeah. Tell us the truth. And you know,
And then
that's
I'll laugh
true.
about it, of course.
But
But
I think more people would ask questions if you say
Yeah.
I'm terrible. And I would pause and say,
But
well,
the true
why?
problem is I can't explain.
No.
And that's the problem. And then, I remember one time I was in my vehicle driving down the freeway at like early in the morning. I'd taken a bottle full of muscle relaxers and drank a bunch of booze. And like I was one of those nights where I'm like, yeah, this is it. So I'm driving like, I don't know, 100 miles an hour down the freeway, and I call the National Suicide Prevention Line.
Wow.
Tell me why I end up getting in an argument with this dude. Because
I'm sorry.
It doesn't sound like you really want help. You just want to fight with somebody. If you really wanted help, you wouldn't be this combative and da 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 da. So it turns out that line that they don't have like a therapist.
Professional.
They don't have a professional or a therapist nothing there to talk to you.
It's just people that can answer your call.
All they are is a middleman to get you to somebody in your area. So it's like calling the operator to get a phone number. From somebody. Like, well, where are you at? Where are you located at? Let me see who's available in your area. And then they'll tell you where you should call or go.
So you could have already took your own life.
Right. And then I get an argument with this dude. And I'm like, you realize I'm going 100 miles an hour on the freeway and you're supposed to be telling me not to kill myself. And you're making me want to kill myself. You're blaming me for
what's going on. Yeah.
So imagine like that's the help that people have out here on the planet that are feeling this way. And a lot of times you don't know why. I have no clue why at this point in my life I would even be depressed at all. Right. If you look at everything on paper of what I have, what I've accomplished, what I've overcome, what I've been able to create, what I've been able to, and what the future that I have, like right now, this is the diving board for me.
Yeah.
I haven't even scratched the surface of what I'm going to do with my life. Yet I still can sit here every day and say without a doubt that I don't feel joy a lot of times. I don't feel like I'm doing anything right. I don't feel like this. I can say that and not be like, oh, woe is me. I'm not looking for pity from anybody. I'm not.
Do you feel like it's your own standards?
I don't have any standards.
So why do you feel that you are not living up to
I guess I do have standards.
Yeah.
I never feel like I'm doing enough, even though I do a lot. I feel like I should be doing everything I'm doing. I feel like I'm doing the bare minimum. I feel like what I do is the baseline.
Yeah.
I have 8 kids. I'm a husband. I'm a radio host. I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a this, I'm a that. So all of those titles that I hold, I feel like everything I'm doing is minimum wage. I want to do better at all of them. I feel like to excel, I have to do better at all of those things, not just do what I'm doing, which I feel like is the baseline. I shouldn't get props or kudos for handling my responsibilities as I'm handling them. It should be expected of me. And I feel like nobody expects things out of people anymore.
Except for yourself. But at the same time, I feel like that's a toxic way to think because then you're not giving your brain rewards, right? I always explain to people that your brain is like a dog, right? Right? No, but think about it. No, you tell the dog to do something, you give him a treat, he's going to continue to do it. Your brain is the same way. So after we accomplish a small part of our goal, instead of us going back and saying, high five, but you do that to your friends. Oh, you only
have friends. Well, I explain that to you.
Well, when you had, you would do that to your kids. You would do that to your kids.
No, I don't.
You would cheer their small celebrations along until they get to their bigger goal, right? If not, then you need to reevaluate.
No, but see, here's the problem.
Like you're not gonna say, I'm not gonna celebrate you until you graduate from college. You're gonna celebrate them graduating from high school. You're gonna celebrate them graduating from middle school because it's a milestone in their lives. And I think the part for you is you look at this big old picture. Let me school you because you schooled me 2 weeks ago. You look at this big old picture, and you're like, I'm gonna paint every single aspect of this frame.
Thanks.
And until that frame is completely painted, you never step back to appreciate those little strokes that you've put on the painting.
I don't,
because you don't think it's good enough. But if you don't tell your brain that, your brain is never gonna have the motivation to do something bigger.
So let me tell you this though, and here's the reason why I don't do that, because I've had so many astronomically bad things happen. Most of those things were happening while I was giving myself credit for what was eventually going to be the finished product of that painting. And then catastrophe happened and the painting got ruined.
Okay.
Right. So
you're going to start over on this painting? Or you're gonna throw it away in the garbage?
It's gonna get thrown away.
You're gonna start
I'm
over?
gonna have to start something new.
Okay.
So, but my thing has always been, or it has become, there's too much emphasis and too much celebration happening on all of these little things. You can acknowledge it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledge progression for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think people go way too above and beyond celebrating these tiny victories, and they lose momentum and they lose sight of what the bigger goal is. Yeah. And I feel like those little victories in between, like I said, acknowledge them, because they are supposed to be happening if you're doing things like you set up to do.
Yeah.
Right. So why am I going to stop every time I get to point one that I said I was going to do if I did X, Y, and Z and celebrate?
But why stop? Why not just pause?
But that's what happened. Why pause? What's the point of pausing?
Because your brain needs to know that. Your brain needs to step back and say, I did that. Now what's next?
Now, the only reason I say no, and for me, for a lot of people, of people, that is exactly how you should operate. But for me, I've tried all that.
But I feel like that's such anxiety, because it's like you're never celebrating the moment that you're in, right?
Anything.
To me, that's
because
anxiety, because you're always worried about the future.
Because I don't trust the next moment enough.
But that's anxiety.
I don't trust that moment enough to sit in this one and celebrate.
Yep.
I would rather
wait
on.
I'd
rather get on to the next one. And then once I've accomplished that whole painting, then I'll stop for a second and be like, that was dope. That's really cool.
That is anxiety, my friend.
I mean, but
because you
in practice,
living into the future.
But in
versus
practice,
that.
Now I know I need to dial down my future tripping, which I've said before.
Yeah.
I need to dial that back a little bit, because it does give me anxiety over things that may never happen. But the frequency at which those things have happened to me in my life, it makes me a little more apprehensive. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't stop me. It doesn't stop me from doing things like a lot of people would. It doesn't stop me by any means, but I am a lot more apprehensive, and in turn, I can't enjoy it until nothing has happened and the whole thing has been accomplished. Because too many times I get super excited or so happy about what's going to happen, or I'm doing this, it's working out, and then shit show. And now all of a sudden I've done this by my accomplishments have got me enjoying all these things, and every time I'm notching it up, and then here comes the fall. So I stay here. I'm seeing these things. I'm seeing them, and I'm realizing, okay, this is getting good.
Right.
Okay, I'm getting there. But instead of it crashing when something happens, I'm still here and I'm ready to pick back up and start over again. Instead of having to fall go through the rehabilitation of my ego, of my feelings, of my exactly. I'm still giving myself credit for the small victories, and I still see those small victories, and I acknowledge them, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. Yeah. But I'm not gonna fully give myself credit or celebrate until the whole job.
Well, are you really ever gonna have the whole job done?
No, that's my point.
And that's what I mean. Like you were putting so much emphasis on this perfection or this perfect painting that you want done, but you're not enjoying the strokes and the mistakes that you're making to create this painting
at this point. And like I said, at this point, I've tried to. I was like that. I was so like that. But and
I'm not saying be one of those
weird ass
positive people. I
know
everything.
I was. I used to be.
See, no, you have to find. Okay, you have to be a realistic.
Here's what I'm saying.
Optimist.
I'm telling you all of this through practice.
Yes.
Because I've gone through being a myriad of people, and I've tried all of these things, different ways to see what's working. I've done my life has been a big ass wine tasting event.
Yes, and that's how it should continue to be. I've gone
through all the Chardonnays.
So you're gonna stop wine tasting?
I don't drink no more.
No,
I quit drinking.
I smoke. I don't do none of that. You don't just because you found one kind of wine that you like doesn't mean you stop wine tasting.
But this is the only one I'm gonna buy for a while until something comes through and is given to me that is different than everything else.
Can I tell you something?
Please
from
do.
One friend to another.
Yes.
Well, as from one sister to a brother.
Yes.
Honestly, I feel like you are one of those people that are so amazingly talented with so many ways, but they don't see that in themselves. Like when I look at you, and from when I met you about a year ago to now, the growth that I have seen in you, in your conversations, and how you carry yourself and how you talk, might not been much to you, but to me, it's a victory along the road that I celebrate for you.
Right.
Because I've seen you come from different mentality, and the things that have happened to you over this year
it's
are enough
year.
to make a person break down, but yet you did not.
Right.
You did not.
And it's not like though that goes without being noticed, because I know damn well, and I'm the first person to tell you I'm so proud of that. And I think I said it earlier in the show. I'm very proud of that, and I acknowledge that. I just think these days, I think the validation and the kudos and the celebratory parts that usually come with that, I no longer need them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you need a different form of encouragement.
I gotta find something else to bring me joy because I have, like I said, I'm incredibly happy.
Got you.
I'm so happy and I'm so content with my life, and I haven't. Obviously, I always have suicidal thoughts. That's not something that goes away, but the want to do it, or the even getting close to understanding why I'm having those, like that's been long gone for a while now. So I'm not worried about that at all, and I'm not happy. I'm happy as hell. I would never want to be anywhere else than I am right now. I love it. I love my life. Completely love my life.
Where's the void? It's a void.
But that feeling of that joy that you get when you're,
doing things
whatever
you love.
I don't even music these days. Like I'll go downstairs and I'll be trying to do some music, or I'll be making some new, and it's only when I've fully created something that's incredible that I have that joy for a second, but then I start critiquing it, and then I'm like, I could have done better, and then I start on something else.
Do you feel like you did this to yourself?
I feel like life did it to myself. I feel like me being way overly optimistic forever. I feel like I sucked all the life out of life. And
so is there a way you would be able to find that balance again of still being a realistic person of your experiences and what you've been through, but also open enough to feel like there could be another outcome to it?
My answer to that is going to be, I won't say toxic, but it's going to be a typical answer of someone who's in my position.
Yeah, I want to hear it. I want to hear it from your perspective. Yeah.
I feel like once I've accomplished what I want to accomplish, then I feel like I'll allow myself to do that again.
What is the one thing you wake up every morning and you feel like you haven't accomplished, which is why you feel this way?
The only thing that's ever going to bring me any joy like that is making it to like 80 years old. That's the only people on this planet I'm jealous of are people with gray hair, because they're doing something that I can't say.
You want
I
gray hair, and that would make you happy.
Yeah, if I get old enough to have gray hair,
but
and I
you
see my
don't even
kids,
have hair right now.
Facts.
We talking about miracles now.
Miracles,
you just want God to grow you like super long.
He turned water into
hair.
wine. Tell your God to show up for my follicles. If he shows up for my follicles, I will believe. I wake up with a full head of hair.
I'm gonna need all my prayer warriors that's listening to this to pray that
Dear
God
Lord
gives Kujo white
Dear
hair.
Lord Jesus, I come to you as a humble bald man.
Literally what he won't. God, I don't want nothing. I don't even want to get into heaven. I just want gray hair.
Man, leave me here forever with a head full of hair, and I'll be
See,
happy.
You meet
dude.
my dad. He got real long, curly, gray hair.
We'd have to be.
Yeah, you'd be looking at him like that.
Tell him let me hold some.
You'd be looking at him how the girls were looking at me when I started high school.
Probably. Super salty. So mad.
You got your own hair? Wow.
Man. All right. Well, it is 6:57.
No,
we almost out of here, so we got to do this.
Don't say that. That's so sad.
We always get ramped up.
I can't believe it. It went by this fast.
We always get ramped up
4
at the
hours.
end. That's what happens. But I promise you guys, we will get Shay's show up and running. And I am going to force her to make me be her first guest so we can continue this conversation.
I do want to have you as my first guest because I want to get all in your brains with all kinds of uncomfortable questions. And
that's the funny part. And
I want to hear it.
I'm not uncomfortable to say any of those things
because you haven't
anymore.
been in my interviews yet, boy. Right. That's why
you haven't been in your interviews
Daddy
yet.
Butter get you here.
Look, you haven't been in your interviews yet.
I haven't even been in one of my interviews yet.
All right, Shay.
All right, I'm gonna pick a. Is it a positive affirmation?
Watch it. It's going to usually, typically, it has something to do with what we ended up talking about on our show.
Right,
so I would be very surprised if it doesn't.
All right. This one says, send us $10 million or we're going to kill your whole family.
See?
Was this the right note?
Was
I supposed to read this?
We was talking about today.
Was I supposed to? Okay. But for real, on a real note, it says, believe that life is worth living and your belief will help you create the fact. Can I drop the
I
mic?
told
Can
you.
I
I
drop
told
the
you.
mic?
It
Were we just gonna
always.
talk about
It
this?
always seems to correlate with what we're talking
Believe
about.
that life is worth living, and your belief will help you create that fact.
Man, and that's
Sheesh.
how I feel. I don't need the other joys and all that because the living and waking up and being able to breathe and go through my day is enough for me.
That's how I feel. And
it's enough for
what
me.
I always tell people when you see like 11/11 and people are like, "Oh, make a wish." I always make the same wish: health, wealth, and knowledge. That's literally what I want: health, wealth, and knowledge for me and my family. And a lot of people will be like, I want $2 million, or I want this, or I want that. But I feel like at the end of the day, if you're waking up in your right mind and you're healthy, you're already wealthy.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Man. Well,
deep.
I wish we had more time.
Can we just go over like another hour? Who will know?
It.
Who will know?
Can't do it.
Who?
You know she in Wakanda
Princess
watching
ain't
us
even
right
here.
now. She probably gonna shut the whole building down
she
in
gonna
a
press
second.
the building. Princess not here. We can act up.
Man, well,
we miss you today.
We love y'all. This has been an incredible show. Thank y'all for rocking with us. It was a little bit different today, and I'm really glad y'all came by, stopped by, showed all this love. Until next time, I'm Kujo Speaks.
And I'm Shay Butter.
We love you.
Love y'all.
Oh, wait, hold on. It's been fun.
It's been trill. It's been so freaking real. Bye, Alicia. Woo. Sheesh. I can't believe that went by so fast.